How's it going, everyone? Welcome once again to the live NASCAR weekly podcast. Going to try and make that more of a tongue twister every single week. I'm going to try and add words to it. It was just the live NASCAR podcast, and it was the live NASCAR weekly podcast. Now it's the live NASCAR weekly podcast featuring so and so and so and so. I'm just going to keep adding words every week. That's going to be my new little game. But anyway, I'm Eric. Welcome to the show. Got a lot of big topics that really just came across our desk earlier this morning to discuss tonight. So I'm excited. I hope everyone else is. We got a special guest with us this week. And I'll turn it over and let Darian introduce himself.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Darian Gilliam, a.k.a. Black Flags Matter. Got a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff came up all basically this morning, so we'll get to that in a few. Also, make sure to go subscribe to my channel, Black Flags Matter, and also a new upload tomorrow, a Good Seasons video on Carl Edwards. But which year? Find out tomorrow. Danny B?
Hey guys, it's Danny B here, and I'm here with 5 NASCAR YouTubers that you forgot about. All of them here tonight with us. No, in all seriousness, how's it going? Happy to be here. Finally back at the full time. Maybe this is the last time for a little bit, but we'll see.
It's always good to have Danny B back and back in full action, ready for a full 2 hours of a slugfest of a podcast. I know I'm ready for that, Danny. But of course, this week we also have our special guest. I'll let him introduce himself. Welcome to the show, Balto Racing.
Thank you, and good evening to everyone here. You can call me Balto Racing. I've been on YouTube for quite a while when it comes to NASCAR videos, around 10 years actually. I mostly do promos and kind of like funny videos, like right now videos, and back in the day, Danica videos when that was kind of big for a little while. But thanks for having me here on tonight, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do. And I figure Jarrett, for those of you asking in the chat, Jarrett, a.k.a. the Iceberg, should be joining us before too long. He has to miss the beginning of the show, but that's okay. We'll let that one slide. He's been probably the most consistently reliable one of all of us, so we'll let him have a few minutes off to catch his breath.
Okay, I'll go ahead and let y'all know he's actually selling cars for me tonight, so I can be here.
You didn't even sell anything last week. That was hilarious. You were gone for that long. You didn't even sell nothing.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
We got a super chat already.
Yeah, thank you for the super chat, Reverend. Reverend Rasheem Stewart. Do you think NASCAR should do more races internationally? I think it's something they could try. Don't know how realistic it is, but it's something I would like to see them try.
Australia, that was rumored a few weeks back. I think a couple weeks back. That would be interesting.
Yeah, and thank you for the super chat there. I figure we can go and jump into the hot topic of conversation that was announced earlier today. For those of you who missed it, early this morning, it was announced that Kevin Harvick, the winner of this last weekend's race at Texas, was found to have an issue with his rear spoiler in R&D inspection, resulted in a top-level penalty, 40 points. The win from this last week no longer counts. He is not automatically locked into Homestead anymore. 40 points. Rodney Childers, his crew chief, is suspended for the rest of the season. So is his car chief. Big fine, $75,000, I believe. So basically huge news, arguably the biggest penalty of the entire season. I think it definitely is the biggest penalty of the entire season, mainly given its timing. But yeah, kind of shocking. We had other penalties this week too. We can talk about them at the same time. All 3 drivers that got taken back to all 3 cars that got taken back to the R&D center, it ended up having major infractions. Jones and Blaney being the other ones. And thank you for another 2 there. Dill Pickles. Wow, I appreciate it. Super chats on fire early on here tonight. But anyway, what do you guys? I'll let you guys give your thoughts. What's your thought on Harvick's penalty? Is it fair? Is there a problem with the penalty system? Just what's your reaction to this?
My thing is, sorry, I'll just go first. My thing is, I was watching Dale Jr.'s. I think there was like a little clip of it, and he was saying on his podcast that we need to stop having so much in the tech center and stuff. Like, we need to cut down the rule sheet, like from this to like this small and stuff, which, he brought up some good points, but right now that's not the case. Rules are rules. From what I saw, from what the article said, his, his spoiler was like, it was like,
I don't think they ever gave a specific infraction. That's why I know some people were mad. They're like, tell us what he exactly did. And NASCAR apparently was like, no, we don't want to say it because that might give other teams ideas. And I was like, okay, I don't know about that.
Well, yeah, I really didn't know what it was. But then to read 40 points, he loses 40 points. And I was like, well, what does it matter? Because he's already locked in. But then they said, then I got to the part where he said, oh, and his win doesn't count. Like, it counts in the record books, but not towards locking himself into the Final Four. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. Then I got to the juicy part. His crew chief, Rodney Childress, and his card chief are out for the rest of the season. But here's the thing. Harvick fans have nothing to be worried about. Harvick is still going to make the Final Four here, and let me explain why. Stewart-Haas Racing is an absolute dream team right now, okay? And I tweeted this out. They're one of those teams where they don't replace people, they reload. And, you know, Harvick's been in this position before. 2014, he was like 8th out of the 8 heading into Phoenix, and he had to win to make the Final Four, and he did so. And, you know, he just finished he just won Phoenix last in the spring as well. So I mean, I don't really see anything to be worried about and stuff. And as far as the whole crew chief situation goes, Tony Gibson stepping in as his replacement for the final 2 races, and he's been around for quite a while and stuff. He worked on Alan Kowicki's 1992 Championship Series team as a gas man. And then, you know, he was Kurt Busch's crew chief for a while there, won the Daytona 500 and stuff. So Stewart-Haas, I mean, they were probably more than prepared for this. Now he is 3 points, you know, above the cut line and stuff. And then now all the talk is like, oh, well, Kurt Busch has a shot. Chase Elliott has a shot here. Look, we're going to Phoenix. Yeah, technically they do have a shot, but I feel like Harvick and this team, they'll bounce back. So honestly, it's a major, major setback, but I don't really see nothing to be worried about here.
If there is one track that this could happen coming up this upcoming weekend for that team, it is Phoenix, because Kevin Harvick has been so good at Phoenix for so long, especially since they've gone to that new reconfiguration a few years back. I will say this about the penalty. It's kind of weird when you're part of Stewart-Haas, which has easily been the best team all year long. You get to this part of the year, even if you're thinking about trying to tamper with stuff like that, I don't understand why you would when you're already that fast to begin with. So that part is just a little weird to me. Now, for all we know, because they passed the pre-race tech and even at the track they passed, so I don't know why it took till now to finally see that, but that's a whole nother topic. But going back into this weekend, what they have, yes, they have a really good shot of going to the Final Four this weekend because of how good Kevin is, but they have put themselves in such a vulnerable position. Let's go back to Kansas a few races back when, you know, he was leading the race and he sped on pit road. What happens? That happens in the first stage, and Chase Elliott wins the stage, and Kurt Busch gets like 8 or 9 points, and all of a sudden he's in a really deep hole. So, yes, he still has a great shot, but right now it's not exactly really even foot at the moment.
Yeah, and I want to throw this in there. This isn't the first time this season that this has happened to Kevin Harvick. When he, earlier in the year, Las Vegas, he had an L1 penalty, lost that win. You know what he did the next week? He won Phoenix. And as far as this, you know, this new configuration of Phoenix and all that, it's not that different. There's really nothing that's really changed.
They basically just moved the start-finish line over to where
that's
the backstretch. That's it.
The biggest difference is the grandstands. The pit road area is a little bit different, and then the start-finish line's on the other side. As far as the way the racetrack is going to run, it's not different. And Kevin Harvick, as long as, you know, they don't royally screw up, I think he's fine.
I think that's the as far as Harvick, what this means for Kevin Harvick. Yeah, I think he still makes it to Homestead. His 40-point cushion didn't put him below the cut line. He's still in control of his own destiny. He has the ability to finish better than everybody else, and he'll be fine. But I agree with what you said, Balto, about this putting him in a vulnerable position that, 3 days ago nobody had to worry about. Like at that point, we felt like everybody in the top 4 was fine unless they wrecked. That's how we felt. And now you got arguably the top guy all season on that cut line, just because of whether it was an intentional, infraction of the rules, whether it was just like a careless mistake that they didn't notice. No matter what the reason, this is a really bad timing for something like this to happen. But I also want to know what you guys have to say, because I know a lot of people on social media were criticizing NASCAR, and you mentioned it, Darian, about Dale Jr.'s comments, how they need to change stuff. I mean, what is everyone's take on that? And we have another super chat, which I guess I'll read really quick, from Jason McKnight. Thank you. Always keep in the back of your mind, all it takes is a right front tire to blow coming out of turn 4 in the middle of stage 2. Yeah, it did happen at Kenseth last year. I remember that. Yeah, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it, Dason. And he makes a good point. Yeah, Harvick is in a vulnerable position. You know,
and all
even
it takes is someone to dive bomb, in a late race restart. It may be something that he can control.
Yeah. There's a lot that can go wrong. And restarts, that's the one difference about ISM this race is the restarts will be different. The track is the same virtually, but the restarts could be wild. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to see, what did you guys think? Is this a problem NASCAR needs to go forward in the future and change their inspection process or how they do it? Like,
absolutely, man, dude. Like, it's just been so annoying. This has been probably the most annoying season when it comes to inspections and all that. Like, sometimes in qualifying, some teams don't even get to qualify because they can't get past inspection and stuff. And then if you fail it a third time, then the crew chief, the car chief is like done. He has to like leave the racetrack and stuff. He's there the whole weekend and then he has to leave. I mean, like I said earlier at the very beginning, we need to cut the rules from like this much to like this much. We need to simplify them more. But I mean, I guess another question is, did this happen during the race, or did they try to do a little something like before? Because I mean, I think we've seen it in previous races in the past. Like, some teams don't pass inspection because like of some damage on the car, possibly. I mean, that's true, right? Because like it might get altered during the race. That has happened before, right?
There's been instances in the past where pit crew members will intentionally body slam their own cars to try and flare out the fenders. So whether it's crash damage, whether it's intentional, yeah, that can skew things.
Yeah, so I guess like where do you draw the line though? Like, how do you know like how does NASCAR know like, oh, like this happened like during a wreck, rather than like they clearly like intentionally like body slammed the car and stuff like that too. I mean, I guess maybe they review it like that. I'm not really sure. I'm not really entirely sure about it though. But like I said, all I know is that they need to cut down the rules a lot, make everything a lot simpler.
Yeah, sometimes just being ridiculously technical can be a bad thing. I understand why they're doing it, just to cut down people that are trying to like skirt the rules. But then again, that's kind of what the sport's been built on. So don't want to take away the ingenuity of these guys that work really hard in these shops, 80 hours a week. But at the same time, it's just, we've been dealing with the qualifying thing for 4 years now. I remember back in Atlanta in 2015, like 15 cars couldn't even qualify because they couldn't go through inspection. It's just stuff like that. It's just a little bit ridiculous, and it kind of makes us all look dumb, honestly.
Yeah, and I'll give a shout out again to Dason in the chat. Thank you again for the super chat there. Chase Elliott ran really well this time last year. He did. He finished second, right? Chase Elliott needs a win this week. That's a guy to watch out for. We'll get to our ISM picks later in the show. But yeah, Danny, did you have any thoughts on what NASCAR, how they could maybe change? Because what I'm hearing, it sounds like from everyone up here, is yes, they need to change their inspection process, but I feel like at least none of us, and we're not inside the industry so much, but I feel like it doesn't sound like we have any specific answers yet. And I think that's probably the issue NASCAR has.
I read something today from something someone pointed out. And it's like, when I read it, it's like, it kind of makes sense, because it's like, how many inspections did they go through that they couldn't pick up on a spoiler size? I mean, that's what was wrong. The spoiler size wasn't right. That's something that you should be able to pick up.
Yeah, you get 3 chances, and you mean to tell me that on one of those they didn't pick it up? So,
or even after the race.
Yeah.
They never confirmed that it was the size of the spoiler. One thought I had was it could be the weight of the spoiler. It could have been the type of thing when they strip the car down at R&D, they take the spoiler off and they see, hey, this isn't the spec one that we give everybody that everyone's supposed to have. This, and they measure it or something like that, and it's maybe a different weight. Maybe it's more flexible. That was what I'm assuming, in which case I can understand it. But you're right. If they're going to have so many inspection processes over the course of a race weekend, they need to be able to find something like this and not have to wait until Wednesday to finally make an announcement when nobody cares.
Right. I'll put it to you this way. Like, I'll take the Snowball Derby, for example. I don't think if someone has an illegal car at the Snowball Derby, I don't think you're waiting until Wednesday for that to happen, which is another thing I wish NASCAR would change. Why are we waiting until Wednesday for this to come out? I think that's a little crazy.
If anything, it should come out the next day, like less than 24 hours and stuff. Like the middle of the week where teams are like, preparing and stuff. Because now before, I mean, it's the middle of the week.
Especially for a West Coast race this week.
Yeah, exactly. you got to change, the crew chief, the car chief and stuff. Change, the way Harvick has to change, the way he races as well. And, now the pit crews and stuff, now they're like thinking, oh man, like, how's Tony Gibson going to run the whole weekend and stuff like that too. It's just, I don't know. If you're going to make the announcement, I mean, it should have been Monday, Tuesday at the latest, but Wednesday, it's honestly ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I think those are all fair points. Yeah, I mean, I mostly agree. On these types of issues, I typically side more with NASCAR than I side with the teams. I feel like, especially this week, we had 3 cars go to R&D. It's all they take to R&D. And I briefly mentioned earlier, Eric Jones and Ryan Blaney also got hit with penalties that cost them 20 points and a significant amount of money. But they're 3 completely different issues. I don't remember exactly whose issue was what. One of them had to do with like an aero deal in the front of the car. The other one had to do with something else. I forget what it was, something I'd never heard of before. But 3 very different issues, all resulting in penalties. And I don't know if that's necessarily NASCAR's fault. I think it's just the teams are pushing every issue possible. You think about Eric Jones, it's a JGR car. They have Kyle Busch still in the playoffs. Jones, if he gets penalized, doesn't matter. We're going to try and test something for Kyle Busch. Same with Blaney. He's got Logano in the chase. If Blaney gets penalized, nothing really matters. They're maybe testing things for Joey's car. I don't know. I typically blame the teams more than I blame NASCAR. Their inspection process could be better. I don't like that we have to find out these bombshells, 3-4 days later. I wish that could be changed, and I hope they can find a way to hopefully change that a little bit. But more often than not, I just look at the teams and I say, I get that you got to skirt the edge to be competitive, but there's a fine line there. And when you break that, when you get over that fine line, I'm going to criticize you. Like at the beginning of this year, we had a ton of penalties at the beginning. We had that window, or that rear window was 3 weeks in a row. After 2 or 3 penalties, guess what we haven't heard from this entire season? No window malfunctions whatsoever. Mm-hmm. That makes me think that the teams were controlling that. And once they realize, hey, we're getting penalized for it, let's stop. It makes me think it was always a conscious decision. So I tend to blame the teams.
Chase Elliott's team didn't get the memo at Texas because they did the exact same thing, and NASCAR just threw the book at him, essentially.
Then at Dover, Daniel Suarez and Clint Boyer had the same problem.
Yeah, it didn't help Suarez at all. No. Out of pit. But I have to ask the panel here. So I saw this on Twitter, and people were like making comparisons, like, oh, this is the biggest championship implications in NASCAR history. Do you guys think this is when you compare it to like others in the past? Like, for example, Junior losing 25 points after saying, cussing on TV at Talladega, or I mean, because I was thinking about this today, and a lot of people forgot 1990. Mark Martin lost, I believe it was 25 points, and he ended up losing the championship by I think 15 or 20. And this was a penalty that took place, I think, in the middle of the season, something like that, and it came back to haunt him. And see, Ultimate Dragon 23 pointed that out and stuff. So yeah, exactly. I don't know. I still think Mark Martin is right now because now that that's in the history books and stuff. Now looking back, like, oh, this really affected and stuff like that. But I mean, like I said, Harvick, all he has to do is literally just go win, and he's in the Final Four. So
the thing with the Mark Martin thing is that was a time period when I think points, there was like more points for each position back then. Like, it was a way different point structure. Like, you got a lot more points, I think. So I mean, at 50 points, that sounds like that's very severe for today's standards. But I mean, it was severe, obviously, but it maybe not. It would have. No. I can't really say what it would compare to being like right now.
Well, no, back then you got like 180, 185 for a win and stuff. So I guess back then 50 was nothing, but they ran a consistent point system. No chase, no time where they reset. So then in the long run, that's what cost them the title, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think the difference between that with Mark Martin 1990 and with what happened here today, I think is obviously the timing. With Martin, it was happening in the middle of the season, so he kind of had quite a few races to make that up. But with Kevin Harvick, it's like now. It's this weekend. That's why this one is like really big. It could turn out big, especially if he misses it. But I think it's just the timing of this. For this happening, obviously today, that's a huge, huge deal.
Ooh, we got some breaking news literally 4 minutes ago. Jeff Gluck just put this out on Twitter. NASCAR Scott Miller says the sanctioning body is considering much harsher penalties for next season, including hold on. Including taking wins away. officials will take a look at the so-called deterrent model in the offseason and decide what to do. That is major.
Wow.
Breaking news.
Wow.
Did you say, hold on. Did you just say they're going to consider like stripping wins away?
Yes. I mean, in a sense, they kind of do that in terms of points and advancing, but I guess literally, whoever finished second, they would get them the money and the trophy and say you won.
So
Wow.
okay. Wow, that's I don't like that.
That's something a lot of fans have been pushing for.
I've never liked it ever. I've never understood why.
I mean, yeah, it sounds controversial, but at the same time, it almost makes sense in a way. I mean, like any other sport. If let's say, okay, for example, UFC. Brock Lesnar returned to the ring last year in the octagon. I mean, and he was proven to be using enhancement drugs and was banned. They took away the credit for the win he got and banned him for so long in the UFC.
They do that in the NCAA too all the time.
They do it in other sports, so it makes sense to me to do that right there.
I don't know. I don't really agree with that. I think NASCAR, I mean, they've been doing it right this whole time. Yeah, the win still counts and stuff. I mean, yes, they bent the rules a bit, but you still cross the finish line first. You still got the all the the prize money and the trophy and all that stuff. Like, just take away the points, because that's the only thing that really matters in the end in terms of the championship. I don't know, like just stripping wins away. Like,
I mean, if you're actually going to be taking away money from them, that will be a whole lot more reason to just play by the rules.
I mostly agree with what you're saying, Darian. I feel like you go through the whole victory lane celebration. Like, take this week, for example, Kevin Harvick has the moment where he takes the selfie with the kid. He goes to victory lane, it's celebrating, only to find out a week later that all those pictures we just took, all that stuff, all those interviews, all those heartfelt moments literally are irrelevant. Not just in the sense that you don't get to keep the points, but now it's literally in the record books that is irrelevant. And here's where I would be okay with it, is when drivers commit or when teams commit harsh enough infractions. Like if a guy, the little window bend, I don't know if that's worth it. Like, the little bend in the window, do you deserve to have the entire wind stripped away? Don't know about that, but something, I don't know, depending on the severity of the spoiler, sounds like it was pretty severe. Maybe that one would have warranted it, because Texas is a track where aero is important, and that could have been a huge advantage for him. But what it sounds like to me, though, is NASCAR is confirming what I just said, is that they believe that most of the fault lies on the race teams themselves for not setting these cars up properly. So,
but also, if you start to take away wins, all right, so let's take a look at Chris Buescher, for example. His rain-shortened win in 2016. People still, I mean, it's technically a win, but people don't really count that and stuff. What do you think's going to happen when they hand first place and, first place prize money and points and the trophy to second place? Like, let's just say somehow, out of nowhere, Bubba Wallace just gets second. And then, then like first place has a penalty and stuff. People are going to say, well, he won, but he didn't win. Like, that's just going to be another like problem and stuff. And we already have enough of those with rain shortened wins and all that stuff. I mean, the sport just doesn't need any more of those.
It feels like it's interesting. This feels like an old school rule. This seems like something that fans from the 80s, 90s, and before would be all in favor of. But it sounds to me like in this new age of NASCAR, it's not as, people aren't as set on it. People aren't as, it doesn't feel like it falls in line with the gimmicks. The gimmick would say, Harvick still won the race. Doesn't matter what happened afterwards. Hits him with the trophy. Haha, he won. But, the hardcore racing person would be like, oh, but they cheated. Oh, this shouldn't count, So that's where the debate's going to come in. And it's interesting if NASCAR, if that's true, if NASCAR is, the report Danny read is that they're considering it. They have not made any final decisions. If they do make that decision, I will be surprised personally, but I don't think it's necessarily a good or bad thing. I think we'll just have to see how it plays out. It might eliminate future penalties. We might have very few penalties next year because people will be afraid of it.
And that's coming from a tweet literally just minutes ago put out by Jeff Gluck. Now, Jeff Gluck, granted he's, take anything anyone ever says with a grain of salt, but his sources are usually very reliable.
Yeah,
I believe it's true. You said they're considering, right? It didn't say anything about confirmed.
No, considering.
Considering it.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it's true. It doesn't necessarily mean it's happening, you know?
Right. Let's just say for a second that it is happening. What they need to do is put it in black and white. What is it going to take a win away? I think that will take a lot of the concern away because they have been inconsistent with things. I'll go back to Talladega in 2015 with Kevin Harvick, when they had the one restart thing and all that happened. If they're going to go with someone that deep, because that is a huge change. If they're going to do that, they have to put it in black and white. What constitutes taking a win away and what constitutes just taking points away? They have to do that.
I 100% agree. I think they should do that anyways, honestly.
Yeah, they should already be doing that now, but yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That was your breaking news. So yeah, go. I guess check out that report for yourselves because I'm sure there's some more details on that we haven't hit on. Does anyone else have any other thoughts on that, or should we move on to talking about the most exciting race in NASCAR history?
I got one more thing to say. It was quoted. It's a quote from the famous DW, Darrell Waltrip. I think he said this back in the late 80s in an interview. He basically said cheating is a way of life in NASCAR Cup Series racing. So just saying.
Before we
just want to leave off of that.
Before we go any further, I just want to say we have 291 people watching. Thank you so much, but only 63 likes. So let's go ahead and lick that like button, everybody.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Triple digits. All right. Well, hopefully all of our viewers are slamming that like button with all of the force that they have. Let's talk a little bit about the AAA Texas 500 run this last Sunday. We already know who won, even though it didn't count. Harvick won the race. He swept the stages. I was there in person. I made a video, released it yesterday, actually, if you want to go back after the show and watch my entire experience. It was a great time. I'll go and preface this whole topic by saying Texas Motor Speedway, of the handful of tracks I've been to, is still the best in terms of the overall fan access and experience, in my opinion. Granted, I've only been to like 3 tracks, so take that for what it is. But I've been to Daytona, and I think Texas does a better job than Daytona. So I had a great time. I think Texas Motor Speedway, if they just hadn't reconfigured it the way they did, Texas Motor Speedway would arguably be the best mile and a half in the sport.
It was.
Ages a little.
It was.
It already might have been. But that being said, the race this weekend was not very exciting. And I'm sure, we always like to give our rankings on a scale of 1 to 10. I'll be surprised if anyone here gives it above a 4. Kevin Harvick swept the stages. The only people that ever had anything for him were the Penske cars, Logano and Blaney. Kurt Busch maybe briefly had something. Yeah, not a lot else to say. There's a couple spins here and there. You had playoff drivers run into issues like Truex. What messed up Truex? It was a loose wheel. You had Clint Boyer get run into or get sideways on the initial start and put him in a hole. So you had some playoff drivers run into issues. But more or less, there was not any major drama. It was kind of a breath of fresh air from the crazy finishes we've seen throughout most of these playoffs. But yeah, I guess we can just kind of go down the line here. What did you guys think of the race? Did you stay awake the whole time? How do y'all feel?
Well,
go ahead.
I was working this past Sunday, so I kind of missed out on it. But what I did watch of it, what I went back and watched, we got a super track.
Thank you, Inside Uranus. I appreciate it. Figure 8, well, that might be a little strong there, but they do have a Roval, and if they want to roll into an 8, sure.
Yeah. It'd be more exciting for sure.
Just run the dirt track out behind the backstretch. That's what they should do.
Anyways, what I did see of it, it just made me think that it was identical to Texas's Texas sister track, Atlanta. When I went to the race there earlier this year, it seemed like it was pretty much the same as Atlanta, where Harvick just had it from the moment that it started.
There was some stuff that was going on during the race and stuff, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, nothing happened. There was no reason to watch." There was actually quite a bit that happened during the race, from time to time. You had Boyer on the first lap get into Hamlin, pretty much did both their races in, and also it did my fantasy team in since I had Hamlin in. So that was basically, I was like, oh, there goes my fantasy day. And Bubba Wallace, my gosh, so he's running like 15th, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Damn, they've showed up. They've shown up today. This is going to be awesome. Then on the first pit stop, he's pitting over his box again. Why? And then he has to serve a penalty and race from the back. And I'm like, I just tweeted out, I'm like, you know what? I'm done. Like, I'm done making excuses. I was done making excuses for him a while ago. Like, that is not a team error. Well, I guess you could say it's both their faults. It's his fault for pitting over the line, the pit box. And it's also the team's fault for not backing him up. Because usually when you pit over the line, you got to back them up. But it seemed nobody did that. They were just like, just business as usual here. We'll just squander.
And all that.
Oh, and really quick, you have a super chat if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to wait until you were finished. But yeah, hashtag interrupting the conversation. Nailed it.
He nailed it. I didn't even see what it said. Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, it's perfect. Okay. So anyways, there was a caution here. Johnson got loose, and this is how bad Johnson's season has been. He was running behind Bubba at one point in the race. I was like, wow, this is bad. But this is his worst season. If that happens, well. But anyways, Johnson, he gets loose. He gets into William Byron. Byron gets into him and stuff. And Byron was able to come back and get a top 15 with the damaged race car. So, that's good for him. And what was it? What else was I going to say? Sorry, I just got into something popped up on my screen. I lost my train of thought. Oh, anyways, really the only exciting race, only exciting things towards the end of the race was Ryan Blaney and Kevin Harvick on the restart. It looked for a moment that, Ryan Blaney, he's going to take the win. But, like, if you were watching the race the whole time, Harvick had the better long-run car. Once he got deep into turn one and took the lead, it was basically done from there. So I thought what was more interesting was after the race, Chase Elliott, who, I don't know, he's been the most overrated guy throughout the round of 8, which I'll get to in a little bit. Because of his fans, by the way, which I'll explain later. He said, Eddie Gossage
really come after you now. So,
well, I can take it. so Eddie Gossage was like having people tweeting at him and stuff like that, like, oh, why'd you change the track and stuff? And Chase Elliott after the race says, I don't know who the genius was who decided to change turns 1 and 2, but it doesn't make for the exciting factor. And Chase Elliott, despite being NASCAR's most popular driver, he never says anything like interesting like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? He never says like a quote and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
you could have stopped it right there. He never says anything interesting.
He never says anything. He never. Well, what I mean to say is like he never says anything that's like it's like whoa, did he really just say that? You know what I mean? So like unfortunately, Texas. I think they have 1 to 2 years before like the track becomes good again. Like it used to be, or they could just change turns 1 and 2 back to the way they were, I guess, maybe.
I just look at it like even in like 2 or 3 years when the asphalt gets a little bit better, 3 and 4 will be fun like it used to be. 1 and 2's never used to be able to run the very bottom or the very, very top. And turns 1 and 2, it doesn't matter if the track's 20 years old. They're never going to do that. Like think about the tracks people like in NASCAR. Daytona, Bristol. Talladega, even like Atlanta, Charlotte, or Chicagoland are the favorite mile and a halves. They all have high banking. Indianapolis, Pocono, flat tracks. Nobody likes those. I mean, Martinsville's flat. Okay, the people like Martinsville. But other than that.
That's a short track.
Yeah. Nobody likes the flat tracks. So why did Texas?
It's as if NASCAR, this is what NASCAR does. They're like, oh, we had a perfectly good thing here. Let's screw it up again, like always. Let's screw it up like always. So I don't know. Hopefully that track becomes what it used to be. And the final thing I have to say, I'll give this race. I don't know if this is being generous, but I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Is that being too generous there? I think that's just about right.
I think that's
a little
fair.
generous.
Okay, I think that's right. Or maybe 4. A 4 out of 10. Yeah.
I would have given it a 4 just being there because the one thing is I can imagine watching it on TV.
Yeah,
Eric only showing
made it a 4. So
there was almost no passing. But if you're there in person and you're watching all the way around, you can always find at least one interesting pass being made at the track, even in a week like this where there was almost no passing. So being in person, I'd give it a 4. I can only imagine on TV it would be a 2 or a 3.
That's the flaw of NASCAR broadcasting today. Watch a race in the early 2000s. They will literally go way back deep in the field to like 25th, 28th, and see let the fans see a battle for like 25th there, even though it's even if there's like a ton of cars passing and stuff like that too, just for the entertainment factor. Today it's just basically, let's just keep track with the top 5, even though there's some battling going on in the back. Let's just keep track with the leader who's like 18 seconds ahead?
I think for me for this weekend, I'll be one of the first to say this was just not a good race. And this is coming from someone like me. I usually don't say that. I usually find the positives in a race. I will say it's not Kentucky bad. That was a horrible race. But
yeah, it wasn't that bad.
This one was not a lot of fun to watch. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Now, I will say this. In the drama factor, it was good because what happened to Boyer in the first lap with Hamlin and Truex making that mistake of going through too many pit boxes and all the cars that are having vibrations, stuff like that. This race definitely delivered on the drama factor, but in terms of the actual racing, it goes back to the new configuration. I just don't like it. I'll go with Chase. They absolutely ruined turns 1 and 2. It's incredibly hard to go side by side there. Basically, the only way you can pass is what Harvick did. He basically got Logano loose off of 2 that one time, and then late in the race he got Ryan Blaney loose off of 2. But otherwise, you just didn't see a whole lot of passing out there on Sunday. I think part of it is just the reconfiguration. It's just not that good. It's just honestly not that good. And I'll say one other thing that they did when they initially did this was they brought out the tire dragon. I don't think I heard anything about a tire dragon this past weekend. I don't think they brought that out.
Oh, that's right.
Groove or the third groove. I don't think they did that. And I think that really hurt the racing this weekend. They didn't put any semblance of that extra rubber down. And I think that really hurt the racing on Sunday.
And now, combined with that, they didn't do that at all, which I thought was a little surprising. But the other thing that I think did hurt the racing, because I was trying to compare, because I was at the race in April, where it was colder temperatures, which typically means more grip, which I thought maybe that's why, because that race was pretty good. Back in the spring, I think most people enjoyed that race pretty well. There wasn't a lot of passing still, but it was still interesting. I was trying to figure out why this race was so much worse. And I think part of it might have to do with, they had a competition caution. It rained for about an hour the night before. I mean, I was in a restaurant, this weird little wannabe Buffalo Wild Wings, looking out the window, and it was like the hardest rain I had ever seen in my life. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I can only imagine that would wash off any excess rubber. So I feel like that was like the greenest, combine the repave, the high speeds, all that with the rain and the lack of rubber. That was like the cleanest, the greenest track we've ever seen. So I think that might have played into it a little bit. But yeah, the track does suck. I mean, I'm not gonna make up too many excuses. It's not good right now.
So I got the solution, guys. Crazy idea here. Now bear with me.
Okay. Go ahead.
Roval.
Oh my God.
It's not crazy. Did you see SMI, who owns the Roval, Charlotte, and Texas, released their earnings? And their earnings for this last quarter were actually up from last year because of the Roval race.
Roval, yep.
It's not crazy.
We are not adding Rovals anywhere. Well, that's just we gotta fix these cars and stuff, man. We gotta fix the cars and stuff first. So
everywhere can be a Roval if you try hard enough.
Even Martinsville can be a Roval.
There we go. In the chat, they say make Texas a battle royale.
Eddie Gossage would love that. That plays right into his wheelhouse.
Who said about the figure 8 earlier? I mean, that's basically the same thing.
Okay. People in the chat who aren't getting it, no, we are not serious in any way. We are all
of course not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Any other thoughts on this race? What about the whole Almirola Logano? I didn't see the interview live. I would have to go back and look at it later.
I think they've already forgot about it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really quick, I wanted to ask Eric. I tweeted this out the very beginning of the race, when they were on pit road and stuff. Before they started their engines and stuff. I looked in the stands and I was like, wow, that is low. There is huge patches of stands, empty stands and stuff that are open. I was like, how was the attendance there? Was it the same as years past and stuff in recent years, or was it this is bad?
I mean, while I was there, it felt about the same. And you said at the beginning of the race, because at the beginning
the beginning of the race, when they're basically doing their pit road stories before and stuff. Yeah, I was looking in the stands and I'm like, wow, that is low. Well, that is really low.
Well, then I don't know, because I remember looking at the beginning of the race and actually thinking this looks pretty comparable to the crowd I've seen the last couple of years. I actually would have argued I thought it looked like there were more people at the beginning of this race than there was in April. I figured mainly it had to do because the weather was beautiful this weekend. It was terrible back in April. So I figured I was looking at it and I thought at the start of the race, it definitely felt like there were more people than at least earlier this year. And I also sent a tweet about this as well later that night. I compared photos that I'd taken that I'd kind of noticed it during the race. By about middle end of stage 2, the stands were noticeably more empty. Like there was a noticeable amount of people that seemingly just left, which I have never been to a race. I've been to a ton of races at Texas. Many of them have been pretty boring. And I've never seen like a noticeable difference in the crowd size between like lap 1 and lap 200.
I've never understood that. It's like I was at the Vegas race, the spring one, and while it was probably the most boring race I've ever seen, I'm thinking I paid for this ticket though. I'm not just gonna leave.
I figured it was mostly locals, like people from around the area who maybe have season tickets, and it doesn't matter as much to them.
But I just don't get, like, you pay for your ticket and stuff. I know the race is boring and stuff, but like you just leave like halfway through the race. Like I just never understood that. I mean, it's like that's just a waste of money and stuff. Like
right, because it's usually 60, 70, 80 bucks. I don't know why.
Yeah.
That's too much to just walk away halfway through, especially when you know anything could ever happen. So it's just I never understood.
The real question.
I'll be honest. There's a point around lap 250 that I was like, man, maybe I'll just go wait in the longest line to get a drink underneath the grandstands, just so I don't have to keep sitting here watching Harvick go in circles.
That would have been a good. That would have been a good time to get that tater-nader that they had this past weekend there.
There was about a 50-lap stretch in the middle of stage 3 where I was like, I don't need to be sitting here right now.
The real question is though, how many bobbleheads do they have left? Because they were giving out free Kurt Busch bobbleheads, and I can assure you they probably didn't give all of them away.
I think it was like the first 30,000 people, I believe. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, see?
Shout out to Rusty. I know you're in the chat. Shout out to your friend for hooking me up. I mean, I guess I got there early. I don't know if I got there early enough to get one of these, but I'm pretty sure there was more than 30,000 people at this race. There was probably at least 60. This place holds over 100, and it was.
See, that's the problem. That's the thing. Like this place can hold like 160K or 60,000 K, I think, and you keep waving that bobblehead in my face.
Kurt's staring into my soul right now.
Yeah, I just lost my train of thought again. He was like just looking at that bobblehead. No, but you said there was like 60,000 in there, like in a stadium that holds what, like over 150K. It looks bad. Like, so that's why I was like, damn, like that's really like really empty.
Yeah, we kind of find the same thing at Dover sometimes. Like Dover can hold like 120,000 people even after they've taken some of the stands out, but sometimes it looks noticeably empty. But at the same time, it's still like 85,000 people, which ain't that bad.
Yeah. And I said I would put 60 on the low end. I think by the end of the race, there's 50 or 60 people. 1,000 people. I bet there's 70, most of it.
I just realized I said 60,000 K.
I didn't even notice.
60,000 K. Oh my gosh, 60K. Oh my god. Like, how many subscribers do you have? Black Lives Matter. Oh, I have 5.8 thousand K subscribers. No, but I guess the last thing to leave off on a funny note. This just proves how unrealistic NASCAR Heat 3 is, because Texas is sold out. I'm like, this is not realistic. This is not realistic, man. Like, all the tracks are sold out. That is not realistic anymore.
I mean, it's like that in iRacing too. So
yeah, of course. So iRacing automatically is unrealistic as well.
They should have it to where the crowd is like
that.
They should have it in these games where half the crowd is leaving. So by the end of the race, you're like,
yeah,
where is everybody?
We need to enhance the realism. I want the little details. I want to see a man. I want to see a man drop his hot dog.
I want to see beer cans being thrown on the track.
Here's an idea. Here's an idea for you. Have a game mode in, like, it's basically like career mode, and like the better your driver does, like the more people come back to the races. So it's like, oh, this guy's responsible for bringing NASCAR back and stuff. That would be
that'd be awesome, actually.
It seems like something like if 2K were making the games, it seems like something they would do, because 2K, they like to go over the top with their games. So it's kind of frustrating, but because like they put a bunch of unnecessary stuff in there. But I don't know, just a thought I had.
I think people are really not sensing the sarcasm we had about that comment about the game.
Guys, it's a game. I'm just playing. Wow.
They went to the point where you could stop your car at the start-finish line, look in the crowd, and it's like, oh, that guy's picking his nose. There we go.
Oh, man. Yeah. As far as the whole Eric Almirola Logano thing, they talked and they're good. So nothing else.
I just look at that as just a heat of the moment thing. And, this is really the first time Eric Almirola has been in this position in his career. He's never been in spots where.
Deservingly so, too. I think that was just if you watch Jarrett's video yesterday, Devil's Advocate, drivers are allowed to be mad, which they are. He points out they're basically putting their lives on the line for about 3 to 4 hours, and they might have some disagreements. And literally, as soon as they get out of the car, and also Jarrett's in the chat. He says he's jumping on in 5 minutes, so he'll be here in a little bit. And then, as soon as they get out of their race car, there's a microphone shoved in their face and stuff, and adrenaline's still kicking in and stuff. It's just the heat of the moment. Eric Almirola, when he said that, I was like, I don't agree with that. He'll probably and I was thinking he'll probably regret saying that tomorrow, and he did.
Yeah, I think someone just overreacted. Honestly, it's just a heat of the moment thing. You're fighting for a championship, and you feel like someone kind of screwed you over, even though when you really look at the replay, he didn't. It's a really pressure-packed situation, and sometimes you say some things that you don't want to say.
Going off of that note, there, I want to kind of defend drivers a little bit. When that they've had just a terrible day, a terrible situation's happened to them. Maybe if they do any kind of TV stuff, just do the one camera, just do the main broadcast, and then just leave it be. You can gather your information based off what they said on TV, and this one goes out to more fans. I know we all love getting autographs from our favorite drivers, but if they're having a rough day, leave them be. Give them their space.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wrecked my race car at 250 miles an hour. Can I still get your autograph? Can I still get your autograph? That's how some of y'all be sometimes.
That's exactly how some of y'all be.
These guys are human beings as well. Just plain and simple.
I think I've seen a few cases, specifically with Danica Patrick. I think she freaked out on a few fans too much, but
that's because they were talking mess on her, which is this is funny. I still find that funny. I still find that whole Pocono situation funny and stuff.
Yeah. But at the same time, there was a few people that was actually wanting to get an autograph from her, and I don't know. Take each scenario as it is, but I think maybe us as fans, even we sometimes can be too pushy on our favorite people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so I guess that's that.
Moving on from that thriller of a race, which I did want to make one last comment on the race. The final 20 laps were exciting. You had the battle for the lead. Final restart. So I'll say that I like most of these playoffs. The last 20 laps are good. But yeah,
Kevin Harvick's final restart was amazing. But go ahead.
That spoiler coming into play. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I apologize, Kevin.
And shout out to the kid for getting the selfie too. That was pretty cool. He's the reason why Harvick failed inspection. That kid's the reason. It's all his fault.
That kid should start a NASCAR YouTube channel and come on the podcast.
Yeah, come on the podcast and defend yourself. Why did you delegitimate Harvick's win?
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. No, but that was pretty cool of Harvick to do that and stuff.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. Yeah. I feel like everyone's trying to one-up themselves. Sorry, I don't mean to sidetrack this, but it started with drivers with you had Tony Stewart would climb the fence, and I'm sure other drivers did too. Stewart's the first person that came into my mind. And then you have people giving kids the flags. Now Harvick's like, what can I do? Oh, I'll take the freaking kid off. I'll steal the kid. Just
wait, hold up. I'm sorry. What are you wearing, Jarrett?
Yeah, hold on.
What's that? What is that? No, you're on your head, fool.
On your noggin.
A Vikings hat.
Gosh.
Okay.
Poor Jarrett's just getting situated. We're already I come in on trial.
I come in.
How's second?
What are you?
How's second place feel? Second place feel. You're second in your division behind the Bears. How's that feel?
Hey, second place in NASCAR could mean you win.
Mm-hmm. Not in football. Football.
I mean, my Titans are second to Eric's Texans, so.
No, but
we're having a bye week.
But we have beat both the teams in Texas so far. So
yeah. So I guess to sort of move on to the next one, I think that's kind of funny that you brought that up, Eric, because I noticed it's the most disliked drivers that are doing the most with that. Tony Stewart climbing the fence, Kevin Harvick, and then Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is always doing stuff with his fans. You know what I mean? And it's like these guys are the most disliked drivers. So imagine if like Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney did the same thing. They would be like they're already popular, but they would be like through the roof. So
Yeah, I know Brad Keselowski sometimes goes to the infield and actually, I think periscopes it or something. He does that as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, he rode his bike through my campsite once. We didn't even realize we were watching the Notre Dame game, and all of a sudden, a bike just goes off, and we look over to the side, and there's Brad Keselowski riding off. No, it's more like gloop, gloop. He drinks and rides.
Speaking of drivers doing strange and unique things, this comment in the chat, oddly enough, comes to us from Elon Musk. Elon, can you please sponsor the show? It'd be fantastic. But anyways, he pointed out, anyone watched Dale Jr. on Joe Rogan earlier?
Watched the whole thing.
So
I didn't.
yeah,
I only caught a little bit of
myself.
it. I only caught a little bit of it because I had to go to class and stuff. But
Well, let's just say this. Junior is not on the same cussing drop off that I'm on. I have not heard that many F-bombs from Dale Jr. since 2009.
wow.
It was impressive.
Alright,
He was
so-
Notes on there.
stuff in this. I'm like, damn, man.
So
It's like
here-
when we get him on the show, one day we'll get him on the show, and it's like he'll be cussing or whatever. Hey Dale, could you keep it down a little bit, please?
we have a more PG audience than Joe there, Dale.
Yeah, like here's something I never thought I would ever hear. I thought I would never in a million years think, oh yeah, so today I listened to Dale Jr. and Joe Rogan talk about natural hemp oil and the legalization of marijuana.
what did he say about that? Oh, I wish I would have heard that.
He was kept it like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Oh.
So with all of that being said, finish watching our show tonight and then go check that out later.
Of
And
course.
click the like button.
Yeah, we still have almost 300 people watching. Need to get that the like numbers up over the. Let's see if we can hit 200 by the end of the night. That might be a lofty goal, but I think it's possible.
Oh, that's
but-
good.
I think we've done it before, so it's not
Oh, we
impossible.
definitely have done it before.
Good job, Hamlin fanatic.
Oh, and also, by the way, happy birthday to Jarrett's father.
Yeah.
Does
So
he watch
happy
the show?
birth-
Yeah, he might not be watching right now. We decided to. I would have.
What the heck is that?
Wow.
I would have been
Good old
here.
muffler right there.
You
Well,
look,
that's
feel a little
mine.
feel a little gassy there, bud.
That's how my muffler is. It's terrible. No, we do. I would have been here sooner, but for his birthday, we decided to watch. Since we're all big Walking Dead fans, we watched the original episode back when it was still really good. So
Anyway,
Yeah,
Happy birthday! Happy birthday to Big Daddy Iceberg there. You know.
Big
Pop-
Bird.
Papa Berg.
Papa Berg.
All right,
I'll let him know that's his nickname.
all right, Eric.
Yeah,
what you
we
got
can
next for us.
we can move on. We're making some good time. Yeah, you missed the Harvick discussion, Jared, but I'm sure we can get back to it. And then you missed us talking about the most exciting NASCAR race of the 21st century. But now, moving on. Another big news story that came out today, more expected perhaps than the Harvick one. Martin Truex Jr. finally was confirmed he will be driving the 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing next year. Cole Pearn will be his crew chief, which means Daniel Suarez is out at JGR at the end of this year. Rumors have him possibly going to Stuart Haas to drive Kurt Busch's current car, but we'll save that conversation for more of a later date. But yeah, for now, Truex, Cole Pearn, they're going to be with the 19. There was no sponsorship announcement, although I saw several tweets from notable NASCAR reporters saying that Bass Pro Shops auto owners will be with him with JGR. So yeah, we've known about this for a couple months, but what's everyone's reaction to that? How do they feel?
I got one thing to say. 19 team just went from rags to riches right there. You got one of the biggest busts out of the ride finally. That ride can finally become relevant again. It's about time. It's been wasted for 2 years, which is long, way too long for that competitive of a team. Really, since Danica Patrick wasted the 10 for like 5 seasons or forever, it felt like. But it was a good move. You know, it's a good move by that 19 team. It had to be done. And I mean, Suarez, I still have a little faith in him though, because it's looking like he's going to go to Stuart Haas. And if he can't run well or even make the playoffs over there, then something, yeah, then that bus video is going to be coming pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious where he's going to go because, I mean, we say we think he's going to Stewart Haas, but at the same time, I'm thinking I still don't know about Cole Custer. I don't know what he's doing next year. I mean,
He's running full time next year.
He is okay
in the Xfinity Series. So.
Okay,
yeah.
I hadn't really been told that was confirmed or not, but okay, there it is. So okay, well that's out of the way. Then yeah, maybe Suarez does it, but if he don't do anything, I'm sure it won't be long until Custer needs something.
I think I'm still cautiously optimistic about Daniel Suarez. I'm excited for him to go to SHR. I know we don't like to compare him to Logano, but, we have seen drivers get their start with JGR. Logano was extremely young when he came up with JGR in his first 3 or 4 years, however long he was there. Really weren't that great. Suarez, I know he was like 25, 26 when he came up with JGR, but he was rushed. He was not ready to go into the Cup Series when he did. So he's been in over his head a little bit, especially his first year. So I'll say that's similar. I don't expect Suarez to win races next year in the 41, but a couple years from now, definitely maybe. The question still remains, is Daniel Suarez going to go to the 41? All the reports seem to suggest he could be, but I feel like I'm a little concerned that we haven't gotten any official reports since any reports yet. It seems like he's very dependent on whether Eris wants to continue sponsoring him on a different race team. So
I have this theory. The reason that Suarez isn't confirmed yet is because they're probably still taking a look at Cole Custer. Now, granted, they've already said, oh, he's not going to go full time, but I mean, plans can change in a hurry. What if he goes on to win the Xfinity Series title? Then they're okay, let's do this. Let's put him in the 41.
Honestly, with him getting that win this weekend and him being the defending winner of Homestead, Cole Custer is actually my current pick to win the Xfinity Series championship.
Yeah, if you don't know, last year he won the race by 13 seconds.
He dominated.
Yeah. So if Cole Custer, if he wins the title, we might see some stuff changing here. Yeah. We might see some stuff changing here.
And he's already made a Cup debut running it's like Rick Ware racing.
Qualified 8th. That was
at
good,
Richmond.
Yeah, at Richmond. So that's not bad.
Yeah,
and a not so good car. So
he's got some talent there. That is for darn sure. But going back to obviously with Martin Truex Jr., obviously that's not a surprise. We've known that for months. But boy, that really creates a super team now over at Joe Gibbs Racing because we talk about Eric Jones a little bit. He's quietly put together a really good second half of the season. So now you have him with Truex, and obviously you got Hamlin and Kyle Busch. That is one heck of a team going to 2019.
Yeah, and I feel like Denny Hamlin, like 2 years ago, he was maybe the second best guy at JGR. He's going to be the fourth best guy next year, I'll bet.
Christopher Bell is knocking on the door. That's all I'm going to say. Christopher Bell is knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to say something here, and we have a little friend of the podcast. He's been following us since like day one. What Incarnation? He does all of our clips of funny moments. If there's any kind of like good stuff, you can usually find it there after the show. He's only about 34 people away from 1,000 subscribers, so just helping him out there a little bit.
I was gonna say something, but then you beat me to it. But yeah, like everyone go, like let's try and get him to 1,000 subscribers tonight.
He's where you find the funniest moments of the show. So
yeah.
Yeah, if we want to do Joe Rogan terms, he's like the JRE clips of us. No, with the whole deal with Truex, yeah, I'm not really surprised. I would have been more surprised if it was like a week or two after we first talked about it on the podcast. Shameless plug. But no, I mean, the writing's been on the wall for the last few months. And obviously, I don't really think Gibbs is going to give up a driver crew chief combination that won a championship with his equipment. They obviously have chemistry, and it obviously is a net gain for him over Suarez, or really any of his drivers. He's outperformed, aside from maybe Kyle Busch over the last 2-3 years. So it's nothing but a gain for JGR. Look at the best people from Furniture Row, more than likely to work on that, and leave the rest for everyone else. As for Suarez, I'm still on that giving him 1 or 2 more year chance with SHR, because that's looking like that's what it's going to be. Basically, if he doesn't perform with SHR. seeing how he'll probably be one of the main focuses. Because I do think that teams have focus towards their best drivers, especially late in the season. So, when you're competing against Matt Kenseth, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, you're going to get the lower end of it. And then this year with Eric Jones doing better and being there, he's got to get more focus on his team as well. But I think this coming year, he's going to get just as much focus as an Eric Almirola would, just as much as a Clint Boyer would as well. And I think having someone like Kevin Harvick, who in my opinion is probably, I'd say over the last 5 years is probably the best driver in the sport, that's just nothing but help you. So if you can't perform at this point, then the bus video should and will come.
That paint scheme is going to be nice, though.
It is.
It's going to be a nice 41 car right there.
Yeah.
I
will say one thing about the 19, though. Their pit crew tends to mess up a lot. And if they keep the same crew, because if people don't remember, that's the same crew. That's half of that crew is the same crew from Dale Jr.'s in 2015. And if people don't remember back there that year, they had about 4 or 5 races ruined by loose wheels. And the same problem is shifted over when Carl Edwards had that team in 2016. And the same problems have happened with Suarez, too, when he's had good runs. So if they keep that same crew, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of races Truex should win that get slipped away in Truex fashion. Or if mid-season there's a big shakeup with the crews. So
the thing about this is like, you're bringing in a new driver, new crew chief and stuff. I feel like Gibbs should probably just clean house and stuff, because when you're losing so much, you have it like, you have this mentality and stuff like, this is, what else can go wrong and stuff. I feel like, you need to get rid of all those guys, start fresh, start with you already have the driver and the crew chief now. I'd say just get everyone from the 78 team and just bring them over. It's basically going to be like, it should basically almost be the same team the 78 has now.
Right.
I think that would work out perfectly.
I agree. Yeah, this is a performance business, and if you can't perform on pit road and you make mistakes consistently, then, especially with a team like Joe Gibbs Racing, they have the depth. So if you're not good, they're going to get you out of there. And I'll go back to Suarez a little bit. I'll say that Suarez is a really nice guy. I'll say he's one of the nicer drivers in the garage, but unfortunately, this is a performance business. And if you do not perform, especially in that kind of ride, unfortunately, your leash is not going to be that long. So if let's just say for devil's advocate, he does go to the 41, he's going to have a couple years where he really needs to prove his worth. And if he doesn't, unfortunately, that may be the end of the road for him. So I hope for the best.
His biggest mistake to me was saying, I'm going to make the playoffs this year, and it didn't happen.
Well, he did that and then almost won Pocono like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
True, but almost. I mean, that's the thing. Like, think of who the owner is. That's Joe Gibbs, Super Bowl winning quarterback. I mean,
Carnation, clip it.
Yeah. Hey, he doesn't even know football. Okay.
That's right.
I'm getting my thoughts mixed up with what I was about to say. Super Bowl winning coach. If he had a quarterback come up to him and say, "Hey, coach, I'm going to get us to the Super Bowl this year," didn't happen. Bye.
Yeah, that's basically what happened.
Here's what I think.
Confidence.
I think with Suarez, this coming year is a crossroads. This coming year decides whether or not Daniel Suarez will be like a Joey Logano, where he was rushed into a ride, did not perform in that ride, but moved somewhere else and did better. Or this is a David Reagan, where it was rushed into a ride, but didn't perform and failed to perform with a good ride. And from there, no, I'm sorry. If you Roush Fenway Racing in the before 2013 is an elite team.
No, I know, but I'm saying, but what I'm saying is like the David Reagan comparison. I'm trying to think, is there like another comparison to think? I don't know. I can't really think of one.
JJ Yaley got 2 years. And didn't get a shot with anyone else.
Okay.
No. Yaley was terrible.
I'll give you a worse one. It is also a Roush driver. Colin Braun wasted a lot of money and cars in the Nationwide Series for them. He wrecked so many times for them.
You know what? I don't really think it's like you can really compare him to anyone and stuff. And you can't compare him to those guys because he does have a championship. He does have an Xfinity Series championship. So I don't know. I can't think of one guy like who's a former Xfinity champion that hasn't lived up to expectations. I can't really.
Stenhouse Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes.
no. What I'm saying is
He's not
that
a
it's
great
like
team now.
you have an elite team, you don't perform, and then with a new contract or a new ride, Logano performed. Logano got better, whereas David Reagan just continued to taper off over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to win, but
Right.
I mean, tandem drafting is even more of a crapshoot than pack racing.
Oh wait, Brian Vickers. It's a Brian Vickers comparison there, maybe.
Maybe.
No,
Brian, no, I'd say because Brian Vickers, with his,
He was
Problems, yeah.
he was starting to peak a little bit before all that happened.
really quick. Carnation is 10 away from 1,000. So
that's
anyone in the
awesome.
chat, if you're willing to help us out, guys.
10 more. Come on, guys. Carnation, let's get him up to 1,000.
We're very generous and supportive of our most loyal supporters. So
I swear if he gets monetized before me, though. I'm gonna be like, unsubscribe.
No, but back to the David Reagan comparison. I you know what? I'll agree with that. Reagan got like way too many chances in that 6 ride. From 2007 to 20.
10, 11.
Yeah, 2007 to 2011, he only had 1 win, and he could have won the 500, but he screwed that up himself. So I'll agree with that.
He had 5 years in top ride. His best finish in points is 14th, whereas Logano, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5th year, broke through. Suarez,
I will say this.
17, 18. I mean, come on. He's 2 years in. He's against. And let's be honest, like, yeah, the competition might be a little bit easier on the entirety, but the top of the sport right now, I think, with, the disparity between veteran drivers and younger drivers who don't have as much experience, I mean, it's a lot bigger than it used to be. So
Hey, he did it. 1,005.
nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Carnation. That's awesome.
Anyways,
I'm not singing Despacito for you, though.
back to David Reagan. I wonder how he would have done had he had more time in the Nationwide Series before he come in. Because think about it like this. 2009 was a good year for him. He won 2 races that year in the Nationwide Series, Bristol and Talladega.
Yeah, looking back, he ran part-time in the Truck Series and some races in Xfinity in 06. Then all of a sudden, I don't know, Mark Martins just decides, like, yeah, I'm not going to be here and stuff. And it was either David Reagan or Todd Cleaver. So David Reagan was the obvious choice here out of the two. Because Todd Cleaver, like, he ran some races that year, and he was bad. He was terrible.
He was all right in trucks, but in the Nationwide Series, he wasn't that good.
Well, thanks for giving me another one for 5 NASCAR drivers you forgot about.
Yeah.
He was garbage.
But, I guess to conclude off this topic, Suarez, he's got to make the playoffs next year. I don't care where, even if he's the 16th driver in, he's got to make it into the playoffs. It is a 16-team playoffs. Yeah, and just the fact that he hasn't been able to do so in the 19 it's still mind-boggling to me, because that's like the best team, arguably the best team in the league right now. So I don't know. It's either playoffs or bust for Suarez in 2019. So we'll see what happens, though.
Yeah,
I can't wait for that paint scheme. That paint scheme is going to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I like how we took this topic about Truex going to the 19 and basically talked about Suarez going to the 41. But I guess I expected that. Yeah, I mean, we can move on now to looking at the playoff grid a little bit, talking about it, because that's changed. Obviously, I might have it memorized. So let me see if I have it memorized off the top of my head. But I'll give you guys the top 4 or the top 8 in points. Logano's locked in. Kyle Busch is 28 to the good, I believe. Truex is 25 to the good, and then Kevin Harvick is now only 3 points above the cut line. 3 points below it is Kurt Busch. 17 back is Chase Elliott. And then I think it's like 35 back to Almirola, and then like 50 to Boyer. So Almirola and Boyer kind of need to must win. Elliott almost needs to must win. But it gets really interesting when you look at Harvick and his teammate Kurt Busch. You look at years past, Kevin Harvick's been much, much better at ISM Raceway than anybody else. But Kurt Busch is one of the few cars that could run with him at Texas. And as far as we know, he didn't have an issue with his spoiler. So, maybe Kurt Busch has got some momentum going his way as well. Point is, Harvick is not locked in anymore. So, I mean, we can kind of. I don't want to like go down and say everyone give their final fours, but maybe that's the best way to do it. I don't know.
Oh, I want to say this first. And this is what I said earlier. Chase Elliott was set up to fail because of his fans. Here's why.
Yeah.
Here's why.
A video,
you know, Chase Elliott, you know, in the round of 12, he was like on fire. He had won two of the 3 races and stuff. Then we enter the round of 8. Everyone's expectations, you know, like, oh, he's gonna win the title. Here we go. He's gonna win Martinsville. I was not sipping the Kool-Aid one bit. He ran in the top 10 all day, which is the exact same place he finished. Or was at least running in the spring race. Then Texas, everyone's like, oh, this is the week. This is the week. No, he got a top 10. He basically ran about the same where he ran in the spring. And now we're going to Phoenix, and the whole expectation is, oh, okay, this is his time. He has a shot now. And now with these penalties, the expectations are through the roof because now he's 17 points back. So now everyone's just going to say, oh, he's going to win this week and stuff. And Chase Elliott fans are going to be disappointed because it's not going to happen. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. You know, he had a terrific year and stuff, but we got to, like, you know, settle down here for a second. You know, like he'll probably maybe miss it by maybe a few points and stuff, but I just don't see it happening though. But I'm just saying, Chase Elliott fans need to like lower their expectations just a little bit.
I will say this: he ran really well there in the spring. Kevin Harvick had to pass him late in that race to win that. So he's got a chance. Now, obviously, you do got to beat that 4 car, which I don't care who's on that pit box. He's going to be the car to beat on Sunday, but I wouldn't exactly push him away just yet. I think this is definitely his best track this round for sure.
If anyone of the bottom 4 has a shot, it's Kurt Busch, or it's either Kurt Busch or Eric Almirola to me. Almirola is really good at Phoenix here. I know he's back and he's all the way back and stuff, but out of those 4 in the bottom, I like those 2 better just because of the car, you know, Stewart-Haas equipment they're running. You know, Chase Elliott is obviously last because of who's in the bottom 4? Kurt Busch, Chase Elliott, Clint Boyer, and Eric Almirola. Yeah, so 3 of the 4 are Stewart-Haas cars. I just don't see Chase Elliott making the final 4.
I will say
that's
this.
just me.
I will say this, compared to like the bottom 4 right now, I'm a little worried about that 14 team right now. They do not seem consistent at all right now. It just seems like whenever something happens to that car, Clint Boyer is like a firecracker on that radio. And especially this time of the year, you need to calm that down and be on the task at hand. It's just that kind of stuff is not going to work this weekend, especially for him when he's in a must-win situation. I do not feel confident. I do not feel it for that 14 team this weekend at all.
They've been kind of skimming, like just barely skating through the rounds to this point. At the beginning of these playoffs, I thought they had a very good chance of going all the way to Homestead, and they keep barely sneaking through these rounds. And
it's not going to fly this time.
I don't see it either. I think your point, Darian. You know, SHR has, you know, those 3 drivers have the equipment advantage, but Chase Elliott, in my opinion, is the best driver at ISM out of all those 4. And so I think it's going to be, you know, a battle of both. You know, I think you're going to have the better cars with Kurt Busch and Clint Boyer and Almirola, but you're going to have the better driver in this case with Chase Elliott.
So someone in the chat just said, oh, well, Chip, what are you talking about? He has the best averages. Yeah, but he doesn't win. He doesn't win at Phoenix, though. That's the thing. He's got to win this week.
And with this
almost won last year.
Well, I mean, Darian, you picked him at Watkins Glen, and he hadn't won there before.
Yeah, because there was a track record there at least. I mean, this is playoff time. Playoff races are different than regular season races. Way different.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see the consistency here.
He was 10 laps away from winning last year. Just got to say that. He was 10 laps away.
The leaders had to pass him for the win in each of the last 2 ISM raceways. So it's not like this is arguably his best track that we've seen on a consistent basis. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I don't know that it's a lock. 17 points is a lot to make up, and I think Harvick is the clear favorite. You know, he was winning races at Phoenix before he ever met Rodney Childers, so I don't think that's going to matter this week.
I just don't think that. I don't think he should be the number 1 pick, but I for sure don't think to count out Elliott because I mean, you look at like, you know, Harvick has an engine issue or something, then I think the race is up for grabs at that point.
Well, really, not even just Harvick. Like, you know, saying that Busch is only 28 good. I mean,
Mhm.
dang, that's actually that's actually not a good place to be for him or Truex. I mean, I don't know if it could all three of them not make it, but could be possible. They had worst case scenario.
20 points. 20 points equals 2 rounds. I mean, or stages. So I mean,
Stages, yeah.
by the end of stage 2, Chase, something goes wrong for Harvick. Let's say he gets trapped a few laps down early. Chase Elliott is ahead of Harvick then. Say he wins both stages or even wins one stage and gets 7 points in the next one. All he has to average really is a 3.5 for the first 2 stages as long as Harvick isn't in there, and he'd be ahead of him.
Last year, Denny Hamlin came into this race 19 points behind the person that was at the cutoff line, Brad Keselowski. How many stage points did Keselowski get in this race last year? 0. Hamlin got 19, and at last stage, they were tied. If Harvick speeds on pit road or makes a mistake or something happens, the same thing can happen this weekend.
And that happens to the best of them. I mean, every driver at some point or another, even at the best time in their career, is screwed up. And we haven't, I don't know. I don't really too much want to buy into Harvick being due for a screw up because I think he's too good of a driver to be quote unquote due for one.
His pit crew is garbage, though. I would never trust the pit crew.
That's the thing. That pit crew is the lone reason why I think he should not be the favorite going into Homestead either. Is because that pit crew I think would fold under pressure compared to the driver.
Mm-hmm.
I think with the fact that Chase Elliott is below the cut line right now, and we're going to one of his best tracks, and with Harvick having his penalty, there's a real possibility that all 4 SHR cars could get eliminated in this round. They came into this round of 8 with half the field, and they could end up not sending a single one of them to Homestead. That would be the ultimate slap in the face.
That would be a choke.
That would be, I was going to say, that would be one of the biggest chokes organization-wise wide I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, and I think Harvick not making the Final 4 penalty or not, I mean, that's just...
It'll prove this point system is so flawed. There are so many flaws in this point system.
Can you say it's a flaw, though? I mean, he got a penalty. He sucked. He had a bad race. I don't know. I don't know.
In regular standings, he's second. He's already clinched second in the standings in regular season points.
Second in the standings, but with this penalty, he's over more than 40 points behind Kyle Busch. That's like a race's worth of points. So he'd basically already be eliminated if we were going with no playoff format. If we were going with an old school like 2006 style playoff format, I'd be curious to see where he is. I'll bet Chase Elliott might be leading the points with that old format. Because I feel like he's been consistently in the top 5, top 10 every race, and he's got 2 wins.
with the 2004 to 2006 format.
Sure,
or
even I don't know about the 2012 or 2013 format because I think those factor in wins, and obviously Harvick has a lot more.
He might, maybe. I don't know, Jared. Do research on that.
I don't like the argument that because I hear it a lot whenever when Truex has his loose wheel and it's like, oh, Truex could get knocked out. People are like, this shows why the system is flawed because he's won 4 races and he's not going to get to go to Homestead. And I'm like, in the old playoff format, I remember 2013 was one of the first years or the last year of the old school playoff format where I followed it super closely between Jimmy Johnson and Matt Kenseth. Neither driver had a bad race in that entire 10 race stretch. Jimmy Johnson's worst finish was 16th at Talladega. Matt Kenseth's was 20th at Talladega, and Kenseth had that one finish. I think that was Kenseth's only finish outside the top 10, besides, I think, Phoenix. He finished 20th as well. So he had 2 finishes of 20th place, and he lost the championship as a result. He never DNF'd. He never finished 30th or worse. He had a 20th and I think a 23rd, and he lost the championship. And so I just don't understand when people say
the fact that it's winner take, like the winner take all aspect. It promotes winning, and then say a driver with 1 win gets in, where a driver with potentially 8 wins wouldn't. It's like one of those things. Like, well, are we really promoting winning, or is it just?
I've always preferred them to promote consistency, which is why I don't like the win to get into the playoffs, and I'm iffy on the win to advance per each round. I don't.
It's one of those things again where it's like, oh, well, so and so is the champion, but the real champion would have been. I just hate that. There should just be one definitive champion, and from 2004 to now, there hasn't been that. There's always going to be like, oh, well, he won this year, and then well, this guy should have won the title, but NASCAR and their gimmicks and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm sick and tired of just hearing that, and I'm always going to be a strong advocate for going back to the 2003 one.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you
moving
what,
from-
after my video tomorrow that comes out, another shameless plug by me, we can all see the 15 different scenarios of what the championship would have been like on this year with every system, because
There's
Yeah.
a lot. There's
actually, I will tell you this. I will give you one little hint for tomorrow, is that NASCAR changing the point system every 2 or 3 years is actually back to form. So technically, we're really going old school NASCAR, because aside from that 29-year stretch, we really didn't have that many consistent point standing or systems where we kept up for more than 3 years. I mean,
hey, really quick, tell them about the points you're awarded for each lap. Is it something like that in one of the systems?
Geez. Okay, so one of the systems tracks a half mile and lower got a quarter of a point per lap. Then for ones between a mile and a half mile, got half a point a lap. Then mile and a half tracks got 3/4 of a point a lap. 2 mile tracks got a point a lap, and 2.5 mile tracks and larger got 1.25 points per lap. So it could be worse. It could be much, much worse.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's yeah. When I went back through, I like, as much as I don't like the playoff system, it's probably honestly middle of the road when it comes to best playoff systems in NASCAR history, or best point systems in NASCAR history. So like, this is, if you think this is dumb, no, it's not the dumbest one ever. Not even close. Like, it makes so much, at least it makes sense on how you get in, like, and how you compete for championships. Because when a champion, like, if people thought that Matt Kenseth getting a championship with 1 win was bad, like, at least Matt Kenseth was the best driver that year. No, Benny Parsons won a championship when finishing only 1 race of 30 on the lead lap.
Wow.
Come on. Like, it's
I
not
got
as
him.
bad as people are saying, guys. We're good.
Yeah.
We're
Oh,
good.
gosh.
You know, like, it can be changed, it can be better, whatever. You know, we got another year based on the trends, and then we'll get a new one after 2019.
That's gonna be an
Go
awesome
Jets.
video to watch, because
Yeah,
I didn't know
that's
NASCAR. I didn't know NASCAR had that many point systems
Yeah,
and stuff. So y'all make sure to,
15 since 1949. Yeah.
Wow.
So this is, like I said, it's a return to form.
Imagine being a NASCAR fan since 1949 and just, going through every different points change and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, here we go again, changing the rules and stuff. Here we go again."
Saying
Here
that
we
in his
go
rocking chair. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
now do you understand why NASCAR fans are so mad that we got away from not changing stuff?
Yeah.
So we're good. We're good. All right. It could be much, much worse.
It could.
Before we move on to our picks for our specific picks just for this race, we might get a little teaser of that here. I want everyone to just go down the line and give the chat the 4 drivers that you think are going to be eliminated after this round. I can start. I think it's going to be the 4 that are currently out. I think Elliott, Boyer, Almirola, and Busch, Kurt Busch, will be eliminated after this race. But what do you guys think, Danny?
I am in agreement with Eric right here. I don't see any change happening. I think it'd be interesting, and I think that there still could be, because obviously we'll never know until the race is over. But I'm leaning towards it going the way it is right now.
All right. Well,
Go
okay.
ahead.
So I'll go with Clint Boyer, Eric Almirola, Chase Elliott, and Kurt Busch. I'm not going to go anywhere outside the box here.
I was like,
Come on.
I was like,
Which Busch is he going to pick? Ooh.
I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, I'm basically, it's almost unanimous over here. The bottom 4 who are currently out are going to be out. So
I think if nothing crazy happens, I think the same bottom 4 is going to be the same after Phoenix. But, like I said, all it takes is someone blowing an engine or someone dive bombing into one in one of these late race restarts, and this whole thing is going to change really fast. And if that happens, I think someone like a Kevin Harvick or Martin Truex Jr., something may change. I'll say right now the bottom 4 is going to stay the same, but we'll see what happens on Sunday. It is definitely not set in stone.
I don't know, but bold prediction: the big three or the top three start the race. One of them spins the tires, goes left, wrecks all three out.
Well, yeah, I was actually thinking today. I'm like, so the finish line's in the corner. What happens when someone spins the tires on a restart? It's not like you're going in a straight line.
That's gonna be crazy.
Like, I mean, you see on pit road when they're like getting out and they spin the tires and they end up spinning out. I mean, it's realistic. Someone stays out, old tires, trying to get a win, and you have a 10-car pileup with 10 to go.
Yeah.
So
you get wild, and that dog leg is going to create late in the race 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can we get
8 wide?
Over under? Do you guys think we see 5 wide at any point during this race?
Yeah.
Late in the race, we're going to see over. People will get really desperate.
Ooh, I'm gonna be on the lookout for that.
It'll be interesting because it's like, okay, how many can we get out here? Okay, we gotta all meet up here now.
It doesn't mean it's gonna work, but
a
it's gonna
40-car
happen.
drag race.
And
go ahead. If we get 5 wide on, like, if we get lower than 5 wide, I think they'll make it fine. You get 5 wide or more, they ain't making it.
It's gonna get ugly.
How do you spot that? 4 outside and 1 inside. You got too high, too low. Like, what do you?
Well, like you, basically. I watched that spotter video from 2014.
Yeah, that I would be useless.
Basically be like, okay, dude, you were in the middle of a million around you.
Yeah, be like, and 2 wide, 3 wide, 7 wide. Hold your line. Hold your line.
I'm really glad I'm up here.
We're in the wall. We're in the wall, boys. We're in the wall in 1.
We're in it, boys. We can't fix that.
Oh yeah.
It's not the wrong car.
By the way, shout out to Kamikaze Games because he just left today. Here's another thing I saw on Twitter. Another thing. Ty Dillon is going to be at this Twisted Tea event at the track. Kamikaze is going to meet him in person and stuff. That's going to be
I hope that gets
interesting.
videotaped.
That is going to better get videotaped, but that is going to be that's going to be a very interesting thing. We'll see what happens.
It's happening.
Here's how I see it going down. Hello, Mr. Dillon. I'm Kamikaze. Hey, nice to meet you.
That'd be so. That'd be like, oh gosh.
Kamikaze spits in his hand before he does it. You know?
Use the bathroom, not wash his hands, and then meet Ty Dillon.
See, what I find funny is if it was the exact opposite of what Danny said, where it's like, hey, it's like, oh, you're that guy, aren't you? You're that guy that hates me and my brother.
Someone in the chat said, like, Darian.
I really think that he will be like, Dillon was probably, because I've seen the way these drivers are on race day when they're doing stuff like that. They just get so into it. It'll be a bunch of other people there. You'd be like, okay, hey, how's it going?
No, it's on Friday. It's on Friday.
There's gonna be less people, like a lot less. Dude, a Friday compared to a Sunday race, a track that already doesn't sell many seats.
Yeah,
that place is gonna be sparse as hell because it's Ty Dillon. I mean, if it were Dale Jr., yeah, there'd be people, but come on, it's Ty Dillon. He's gonna be able to look everyone in the eye and know what happened the first 5 years of their life before they leave.
I'll put it to you this way: I don't think Ty Dillon's going to give Kamikaze $100 to get some merchandise of him. I don't think that's going to happen.
Kamikaze should just show up with like an Austin Dillon T-shirt. Be like, "Can you sign this for me?"
Oh wait, you're not him. Never mind.
Someone in the chat, they said like, "Oh, Darian, go down to Phoenix since you're in Vegas and go record it and stuff." Dude, I was looking into buying tickets for the race, but the cheapest I could find is $132 ticket, and since I got bills to pay and stuff, that's gonna eat into my savings and stuff, and plus the track is it's like 5 hours away. I'm not driving 5 straight hours to.
Can you not just sit on that hill?
Oh yeah, that's right. There's that hill. I'm not driving 5 hours though.
It's either you go on a hill with a bunch of rattlesnakes or you buy some expensive tickets.
One of your fancy people.
Those are
This seat's got an armrest to it, man. My goodness.
They even have a cup holder there this weekend too. They even have cup holders there.
I saw the camera was like signing something or something.
Just be sitting there on Rattlesnake Hill. This seat's a little different. I think it's the cars. I really hear something that sounds like it's just shaking a lot.
What's that crawling up my leg?
Yeah, you'll be. Yeah, I mean, you'd be the second fan in 2 weeks to die at a NASCAR track.
You think this bug?
Oh yeah, someone died.
Yeah,
Damn, Jared. Damn, you're so. Jeez, gosh, dude.
I have a morbid sense of humor.
I
So
know.
So what? You got to survive the Talladega and the Texas infield now.
Yeah.
What happens in Texas stays in Texas.
I don't think that's how it goes. It's what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
No, you can steal any. You can steal. Everyone steals that saying now.
So everything that Darian does, it's never happening. It's always staying there.
Pretty much. I've done some pretty horrible things, so I'll just say that.
Except for that time you streamed like a Las Vegas race, so clearly that didn't stay in Vegas.
Oh right, it didn't. I'm just gonna delete that really quick.
Gotta keep that in Vegas. Oh goodness.
Yeah.
People are asking who died. I mean, you brought it up, so we should probably clarify. Yeah, there was somebody.
Fan.
I heard the news. Some fan like died of like carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah,
that's
like a
or
year
something.
in the hospital in a critical condition.
Yeah, I don't know where exactly. I don't even know. Was it in the infield or was it outside?
I believe so.
I think it was the infield. Yeah, the infield's a dangerous place. I'm serious. Like, I've seen so many people like get broken noses in the infield, and it's not even fighting. It's just hey, you get 30,000 drunk people together at night. Have fun. Have fun.
Hey, I just realized this, guys. I never got a chance to talk about this because of everything that happened with work after the Talladega race. I survived the Talladega infield, and we never talked about it.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh wait, you never talked about your Talladega. That's right.
I mean, by now the vlog's up, and it pretty much shows
Yeah.
everything. But still, I survived the Talladega infield. Gosh, that's just a long-standing inside joke of this show now.
Yeah.
I wonder if a black man's ever survived in the Talladega infield. I think that might be the first one to break that record.
Can I volunteer?
Man, just sounds so dark.
Need to watch that
gosh, man.
Dave Chappelle skit.
Man, what is your vision of Talladega infield? You just see the Klan walking around. I mean,
Yeah,
Hey,
he's gonna
bro.
he's gonna be like Darian's thinking he's gonna have to be like that one Dave Chappelle skit, the black white supremacist.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I might. No, it's nothing like that. It's just Alabama. It's crazy and all that stuff. So.
They're gonna walk up to you and be like, "You lost there, city boy. Wow, did you
Yeah.
have to get there?"
You're gonna be. It's gonna be more dangerous if you wear a Joey Logano shirt. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I have to wear that thing. I gotta see what happens.
Just the triple whammy. Hit him with everything you got. We also have
You got a super chat. You got a super chat.
Super chat from Rainbow Warrior. What happened to Balto's Chris Davis jersey? Is that who that is behind you?
Oh no! Screw Chris Davis. Oh.
Open up a bad can of worms.
No. We have someone back here that's actually a good Oriole. This is Jim Palmer, only
That's
the
success.
greatest pitcher that ever wore an Orioles jersey. Chris Davis sucks, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
What's wrong with Chris Davis? I don't watch baseball, so I don't know.
Long story short, we're paid.
Pay him a lot of money.
Short. Yeah, we're paying him $161 million to basically strike out 200 times a year. And if we don't start talking about this race this weekend, I'll start ranting about this 115 loss season for the next 30 minutes.
So hold on. So let me get this straight. So you're paying 160 million a year to someone just to strike out, basically.
Yeah, to basically
Well,
suck.
I give that guy credit. He's a genius. I don't gotta work hard, and I'm a gazillionaire. Hell yeah!
Mhm.
Like, where do I sign up? That's not his fault. That's the Orioles' fault for doing that stuff.
Thank you, Angelos. Chris Davis, don't get me started. Do not get me started.
Oh,
Go
goodness.
ahead, go.
We must save him from himself.
Oh.
On to talking about you, Darvish.
Yeah.
You.
The baseball podcast.
So yeah.
We want to get a picks. What time is it? Yeah, we're a little past an hour and a half. This is about time for the picks. So we start with who's going to suck this week at. Is this the first race at ISM? They didn't call it ISM earlier this year, did they?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was still.
Oh my gosh. Here we go. The first ISM race. Oh my god.
I love how we're all
ISM
upset
race.
about this, but we were completely fine with Lowe's for how many years? NASCAR fans, hypocrisy.
That is true.
That is true.
ISM Raceway at Phoenix, Arizona. That's what we'll call it. It's kind of long, but maybe people will it'll catch on with people. But yeah. So this weekend, second to last race. Guys, this is the second to last race of the season.
That's right. That's right. Which means we have 3 more podcasts after tonight.
I mean,
Ooh,
yeah, there's
oh,
that too. But
Or no, we got.
Okay.
I think we got 2 more or 3. Yeah.
Not to get us back on a topic we kind of already dropped. I want to say one quick thing about Daniel Suarez here. I'm reading on Twitter that some of our loyal fans pointed out to us. So Jeff Gluck earlier put out something that said Suarez was rushed to Cup to replace Carl Edwards before he was ready, then got the boot for Truex when he didn't produce quickly enough. Racing can be a harsh business. He may still land on his feet, though. And then Suarez retweeted it and said, my first year I was ready, even though my number 19 changed completely throughout the year, if you recall. I didn't just forget how to drive. I will show what I can do one day.
I hope so. I really hope so. If he starts winning races, it'll be really good for the sport. Once him and Bubba start winning, oh my gosh, it'll be amazing.
Let me see if I can find it. Jeff Gluck talking about the penalties. Did you guys talk about that?
Yeah, we did.
About what Jeff Gluck said?
We didn't talk about explicitly what he said, because he said something. He basically said he wants them to not penalize people for this anymore. He just wants them to give them a verbal warning.
Yeah, I was like,
a verbal warning? What?
He literally said in a tweet.
Not gonna work.
He said in a tweet, I wish NASCAR would stop announcing penalties on Wednesday. They should just, if there's a penalty, if they find something at R&D, they should go to the team and say, hey, we're going to be looking for this from now on, and that's it. That's what he said.
Okay, let's do that. Let's give him a slap on the wrist.
And I was like, you got to explain that further, because we can't just, if you penalize, if you do something bad, you should get penalized right away. And fans will just deal with it.
See, that's that often. I just see this being a case of when you're in middle school and everyone decides, hey, I need to go to the bathroom. Really, at the same time as all your friends? Yes, I swear. It's comes back a half hour later before the end of class. Do that again. Don't do that again. You better get back in time. Oh yeah, we definitely will.
Yeah,
come on.
I didn't understand that.
I just keep thinking, you're smarter than this. I know
that kind of reminds me of the little badass kids that would be in a grocery store, and they would just run all over the place and stuff. And parents are like, "Don't you do that again? You get a timeout." That's basically what this is.
It wouldn't even be a slap on the wrist. Don't do it.
Yeah, finger point.
And it wouldn't even be a good Harrison Ford finger point either. It'd be don't do that.
Yeah.
Not weak virgin. Yeah.
Anyways,
it's gonna picks.
All
right, so who's gonna suck this week? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Since I'm gonna cover my ass for last week, Jimmy Johnson. There we go.
Oh yeah, you said he's gonna win. I told my mom that, and she was cracking up.
He finished better than all your guys' picks, didn't he?
I picked Kyle.
He finished Kyle Busch.
He did?
Yeah, Kyle Busch finished a lap down. Jimmy Johnson at least was on the lead lap.
No, Busch got on the lead lap. Hold on, I got
Johnson was behind Bubba. You can't talk. He was behind Bubba for some of that race. You are not allowed to say that.
So was Kyle Busch.
No, Johnson though was literally running behind him and stuff, having a hard time getting by Bubba, legit. Kyle Busch, hold on. Kyle Busch was a lap down. He was a lap down. They were not on the same lap. Okay, if Kyle Busch was on the same lap, he would have passed both of them.
Okay,
he was racing.
Fair enough. Jimmy Johnson did finish 2 positions higher than Kyle Busch, but it's worth noting that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Austin Dillon both blew them out of the water. So that can't feel great.
I'm sorry, but my pick was better than your guys.
Yeah, there you go. Well done. At least, your pick also brought out the only caution of the day.
So my pick was the most exciting.
That's true.
Yeah, it was the only thing to write home about, other than a kid got us. Which, by the way, Jeff Burton, you can tell, has never been a NASCAR fan in school. No, he is not going to be the talk of the school. If anyone has ever been a NASCAR fan in grade school, you will know. You ridiculed.
He will be the nerd. That's what he'll be, because I don't know what he was.
Here's the equivalent. Everyone is talking about the Super Bowl. You come up and start talking about Star Trek. That is the equivalent.
guys! I met William Shatner. That's basically
cool, kid. I met Drew Brees.
It's what is NASCAR?
The last time NASCAR was relevant in school was when I was in 3rd grade, 2006.
It was never relevant in my school, even in
But here's the only reason why it was relevant is because my teacher had talked about it, so no one really could speak up about it.
It's okay. Most of those people who made fun of me for watching NASCAR in school, they ain't doing much with their life right now. So
Yeah, they're all all those. Yeah, they're all dead. Anyway.
Whoa!
Well, apparently they went to Talladega.
They
Or Texas.
They definitely are not doing anything with their life.
Okay. So I'll go next with my who's gonna suck pick, and I was thinking about this for a
You ain't
minute.
gonna follow me up, man.
And
I
you
think
know
I just
what?
won the suck pick.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Chase Elliott here. And like I said before, I told you. Like, here's the thing: he's not clutch yet. He's just not clutch yet. He's not at that point in his career where it's like, oh, Kevin Harvick, it can, even though Kevin Harvick's like 50 points back, he can just win this and be in the Final Four and stuff. I don't know. Chase Elliott is not clutch yet, and he's 17 points back, but I don't know. I feel like he might overdo it. I'm not sure. Maybe he'll probably put like too much pressure on himself, something like that. But yeah, Chase Elliott, I know his track record here says otherwise, but I don't know. I'm just gonna stick with playoff drivers for these picks, and Chase Elliott, I don't see him doing all that well.
Guys, I think I'm gonna have to get some new headphones. They're broken or something. Because I mean, it sounded like Darian was saying Chase Elliott's gonna suck here.
I did say that.
He said Elliott.
All right. Well.
Yeah. See, and here's the thing. Here's the reason. Everyone is silent because they're like, "Damn, that was a pretty good pick right there. That's a pretty good pick right there. That's why." They're like, "Wow, damn, he had the balls to say that." I'll give him his props.
Here's the thing: when I get allergic reactions, it really closes up my throat to where I can't breathe, so I can't say anything to something so stupid because I'm allergic to idiocy. Yikes!
You picked Johnson, so you can't talk.
I mean, and my
pick Johnson last week.
Yeah, and I had the best pick of anyone last week.
You can't. You picked Bubba as a sleeper. Yeah, you've lost all authority.
Yeah, who
you can't speak.
Who was running ahead of your guys' picks most of the day last week?
Wait, hold on. Who had the most points though? Because I'm quite sure Kyle Busch got some stage points. So he got the most points.
We weren't picking stages. We were picking finishes.
He got the most points though. So
I will die on this hill.
Wow.
This is the stupidest part of the podcast.
All right. Let's continue with picks, guys.
With all of that being said, I'm gonna level a little bit with Darren here because it's not gonna be his pick who's gonna suck. It's gonna be his teammate and my guy Alex Bowman. A couple of years ago, of course, we've seen the legendary run that come out of nowhere. But thing is, that was a different time for that '88 team. It's a different car they were dealing with, and didn't do hardly anything here in the spring. So yeah, it's not going to look good.
Bummer.
All right. I'm going to be honest. I think right now, kind of go back to what I said earlier. I just do not like the vibe of that 14 team right now. It just feels like they're putting a little too much pressure on themselves. They're just making too many mistakes. They're just getting too flustered. It's just, I don't like the feel of that team right now. And I think that's going to lead to too much pressure this weekend. I just do not see that 14 team doing well. I think they're going to suck. And he's probably going to be the radioactive guy on Tuesday too.
I'm sorry. Just I saw this in the chat. Darian is so stubborn.
Born of stubs.
Y'all are hilarious.
You stole my suck pick. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Clint Boyer is going to have a great run. When you're in SHR equipment and you're in the final 8 of the playoffs, I feel like this should be a make or break race for you. But yeah, he's just not been as good as he was during the regular season, really, at any point in these playoffs. So I think he's going to run 12th.
Darian, that's how stubborn is spelled, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Isn't it with two? Oh, shit.
2 B's.
Carnation, clip it.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Payback.
What? No, you guys are messing with me, right?
You getting made? No, that's how it's spelled, dude.
Exactly.
Fuck.
Look up.
Oh God, I'm gonna get memed again. I'm gonna get memed again.
Man.
Here we go. Oh, here we go.
If
Here
you
we
gotta-
go. I'm gonna get memed again.
If
Oh
you
my
gotta,
God.
if you gotta get me for calling
You
Joe
know-
Gibbs a quarterback, then
man.
you're gonna get
You know
this.
It looked weird. It didn't look.
Hey, to be fair, I'm looking at the definition here and it sounds just like Darian. Having or showing dog determination not to change one's attitude or position on something, especially in spite of good arguments or reasons to do so. That's Darian.
So therefore, Darian is very stubborn.
Very stubborn,
Stubborn in his John Deere tractor.
pretty much. I've said a bunch of words wrong this year in my first year of the podcast. John Deere, JT Dottie, now stubborn. I've reached an all-time low on
Dottie.
YouTube.
I've not heard that one before.
No, I meant to say Daughtry, but for some reason I said Dottie.
Dottie.
Yeah.
Wait.
So
Daughtry's
yeah,
a band. You mean daughtery?
I don't know. I said Dottie. I have no
Dottery.
clue. I've reached an all-time low here, and
Dar-
this is only year
Darian's-
one. So
Darian actually is subtly trying out to be the next substitute teacher on the remake of Key and Peele.
That's a good
I know
one.
how to say Aaron. I know how to say Porsche. Oh my gosh! It's just when I make mistakes, it's all caught up. I'm put on blast on the podcast here.
man.
Oh, see, we got a super chat.
And
For
then
$2. The glorious Darian. I don't even want to say.
say the word.
Hey,
say
let's
the
go
word.
fan.
I'm not saying nothing else. I'm not risking nothing else.
Yes.
No, I'm good.
We've-
I ain't saying.
Guys,
I'm too
pronunciation?
scared.
Guys,
I know
we've
how to
done
say
it.
that. I'm too scared. I'm too scared
Guys.
to say anything else.
Guys,
I'm gone.
listen, we've done it. We found a way to shut him up.
Just use big words.
Oh, I'm never gonna shut up. That's never gonna happen. Chase Elliott's gonna.
Yeah, he's
suck,
too
so.
stubborn to do so.
Oh, good.
No, what's going to shut him up is Daniel Suarez winning. That will
Oh,
shut him
gosh.
up.
Hey, I want him to win. I've told you for years. I've told you for months. I want Suarez to win and stuff. He's just not ready. He's just not ready yet. But okay. See, now we got our little laugh in. Let's
That was a little
That
laugh.
was a good laugh, too.
That was a good laugh. I will admit that. I'm here for your guys' entertainment. Always.
We got on here to make fun of ourselves for your pure joy and entertainment.
I can't wait to hear your underdog pick, Darian, because that's where we're at now.
Oh, okay. So underdogs.
Yeah, this is it right here. How stubborn are we going to see him here today?
Yeah. How stubborn. Let's see. Anyways, all right, here we go. Underdog pick. Bubba, yeah, I have been talking a little bit of mess on him and stuff in his team. I just think, just that team's just garbage, and he's been racing like trash sometime this season, but he really impressed me. He was running up, in the top 15 at one point during the Texas race, and I was like, wow, like that just proves how bad the season has been for him, or for any driver that I've ever liked, when a top 15 is actually considered like, oh, that's good. So I'll have Bubba as my underdog this week. He's running the Air Force colors. Veterans Day is on it's on Monday and stuff, so that's pretty fitting. I'm really interested to see, because I remember Eric Almirola in that 43 team. They would run decent here. They would be in the top 15, top 20 sometimes during this race. So yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing what Bubba can do this week. Hopefully he doesn't sing down the backstretch like he did earlier in the year.
I'd like to buy the world. Yeah.
So, playing off of what Darian just said, talking about Eric Almirola running fairly good in Richard Petty Motorsports equipment here, that's actually my underdog pick for. I'm going to say he's an underdog for the win. Actually, like I don't want to pick him to be the winner. Hey, what are you cackling about?
Jared, what?
Veterans,
What now?
I'm laughing at
Veterans Day is on Sunday.
No, it's not. Isn't it on Monday? Dude, what the hell is going on tonight? I have no class Monday. It's not Monday. It's not Monday. Oh my God.
I just
Oh.
want to let you know, Thanksgiving is on Thursday of this year. It's on Thursday.
God.
Yeah,
Damn.
but I did hear this. I did hear next year they're moving Easter Sunday to a Tuesday.
How come we have no class on Monday then? There is no class Monday. I was convinced. Even the professor said, yeah, Monday it's Veterans Day, so no class.
And hey, I think Independence Day is moving to the 5th next year, so keep that in mind.
Wow, nobody's ever been
know what?
mean as much as me
Christmas-
tonight on this podcast.
You know
My
what?
God,
Christmas is overrated in December. We need to just move into July. Just get some Christmas
Yeah.
trees and just watch them all. Just
Yeah, on the 20, yeah, it'll be on
yeah,
the
no kidding.
No, I thought they were already moving it to the 21st of December.
God damn,
Ruthless.
That being
Oh.
said, your pick of Bubba Wallace was fair enough.
yeah.
So
So Veterans Day is on Sunday now.
Should we
so.
switch spots for a minute and me just tell him how horrible that pick is, or should I just let it slide?
when it gets to be your turn, is it your turn, or is Danny giving his pick? No, you need
I
to up to Danny.
was like halfway through before
Sorry.
the just burst into laughter.
Yeah, before we learn that New Year's is moved to March.
That's a good one.
Nice one, Henry. That's a good one.
That's funny.
Oh,
Okay.
shit.
Go on.
All right, go ahead.
There, my fiance told you to look at the chat. I'm pretty sure you are.
I have the chat running. I see everything. I see everything all the time.
Except for calendars.
Hey, my fiance is backing up Darian here. She said it's an observance day. He's not crazy, so technically you would still get
See? Danny B's wife, she's got my back. That's what I'm
right,
talking about.
but you still had it completely wrong the way you were thinking.
I know. I had it completely wrong. I know.
But anyway,
Ugh. All right.
so my underdog for the win was Eric Almirola. He's in a must-win scenario, and Stewart Haas Racing has obviously put together good cars for Mr. Harvick here before. So why couldn't they also have a good one for Almirola?
Good logic.
All right.
Okay. So everyone last year remembers how Chase Elliott nearly got the win, right? And he, everyone remembers that. Do they remember who he passed? Because that's my dark horse pick.
Oh, that's right, Kenseth.
Dennis
He's
the
racing.
Menace.
That's right.
Denny. Yeah, Denny's my dark horse pick. I don't think he'll win, but I mean, for how he's been doing at this point, a top 10 is preferable.
Yeah.
it'll be like a win for him. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's mine. Denny
All right.
Hamlin.
You know what? It's funny that you say that. I'll kind of play off on that. I'll take the guy who is taking over that ride. I really do like the second half of Eric Jones' season, and he's been really consistent. I think this will be another weekend where he's going to be right up there, be quietly around 6th or 7th place. So I really think Eric Jones is going to have a good weekend. He'll be a really good dark horse.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick. All right. 1 year ago, I'm reading the chat again. Sorry, Darian. I'm so sorry, Darian. You're having a rough night.
Yeah.
It's having a Chris Davis kind of night.
Just got that a few times.
Oh, jeez. No, I'm having what's his name from the Bills? A Peterman kind of performance
God, he
tonight.
is awful.
Yeah, that's kind of how tonight's been.
I'll put it like this: Nathan Peterman was back up at UT for a reason.
That's right.
Peter meme.
All right. You guys want to hear my underdog. This is it. Let me have this moment, please.
Go ahead.
I didn't need a drum roll. I have stuff to say. Okay, I'll take the drum roll, I guess. 1 year ago, in this race, was arguably the happiest day of my life as a race fan. 1 year to the day, not quite to the day, but to the week, this year at Phoenix, at ISM, this man has a bobblehead being given out of him. His second to last race of his NASCAR career, basically guaranteed. Matt Kenseth. I'm not even saying he's going to finish top 10. I think Matt Kenseth finishes top 5 this weekend at ISM Racing. That is my
Wow.
That is my. I have not. I don't go out on a limb very often.
Wow.
I don't know about all that.
Man,
We'll see.
you're going off.
We'll see.
6'7" limb there.
Roush Fenway is coming off maybe their best collective weekend since Indianapolis. Trevor Bayne was running top 10 for the first half of that race. Stenhouse too. Stenhouse finished, I think, 11th. And Trevor Bayne, I think, finished 20th because he's Trevor Bayne. But they had top 10 speed, at least during qualifying and early in the race.
Kenseth has gotten a top 5 run out of that car this year.
Exactly.
Didn't he win a stage? Won a stage at Indianapolis.
Really
He has more stage wins than Jimmy Johnson this year. I don't know if that's correct, but it might be. Somebody fact check me there.
Well, William
is, I
Byron's
believe.
had more laps than Jimmy Johnson this year too. So
Okay, yeah, I guess you're right. Jimmy Johnson's hasn't done that well. And thank you for the super chat, Alec. Do you think Kyle Busch is going to show speed at Miami? I mean, yeah, probably. I think most of us consider him as champion.
He was literally all over the bumper of Truex for the most part, and looked like he was going to pass him last year. So,
anyway, that's my underdog. I think Matt Kenseth has a real chance at a top 5, and it's probably crazy. Probably not going to happen. He's probably going to run 20th, but I believe. I believe. All right, I'm done. All right.
You need to have like some slow music behind you while you're saying that.
Carnation could add a nice Dark Knight score to it,
Oh man.
All right, so we're gonna move on to win picks. Is that right?
That's right. And since I'll go first, I've said it. I pretty much kind of said it without really saying it. Harvick. I really think it's a no-brainer here. Harvick's really, I mean, this is his place and stuff. I don't know how many wins he has here exactly, but it's just it's so many. So I don't know. Harvick, I can totally see still dominating this place despite, losing his crew chief and car chief for the whole entire season. But yeah, Harvick, that's the man.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just go on because I'm going to say Harvick too. So just get that out of the way. Harvick's going to, he's going to be fine. The last time he had a win encumbered, he went out and won Phoenix, so he's going to do it again.
What's up, Darren? Why are you laughing?
Because the chat is hilarious.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree with that there. All right. Once upon a time, when me and Danny were the only two doing this thing, we had like 30 people watching. And for any of those 30 people that might be watching tonight, you know the drill. Why would I pick anyone else? It worked for me before. Kevin Harvick. I'm not going to go off on some giant Colin Cowherd-esque rant about why he's going to win and why it's prophetic and all that BS. We all know he's the best one out there. He's got it. Next.
Yeah, there are some guys, there are some athletes where the going gets tough. That's when they're at their best. We saw it here in the spring race when Kevin Harvick and his team had that rear window problem. They came to this racetrack and they dominated and they beat everyone's butt up. We are here at the exact same situation here in the fall race. Kevin Harvick is going to win this race and he's going to shove it in everyone's face just like he did in the spring.
I do it. I don't know what the penalties are. Would Rodney Childers be there at Homestead?
No.
Ooh.
Not be there at Homestead. So.
Yeah, he can.
But he's got the old man. Tony Gibson has not forgotten how to crew chief. He is one hell of a crew.
Oh, he's got
right.
Tony Gibson.
He's got the old man.
Okay, never mind. I was thinking,
he is going to be just fine.
Oh yeah, he's got Tony Gibson.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No,
Yeah.
no, I've been out
He's
today.
going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
It's very tempting to go against the grain and pick somebody not named Kevin Harvick after hearing all you do it and hearing how smugly you all just said, "Oh, it's going to be Kevin Harvick, no doubt."
That's it all.
A glass of wine while I said that.
No doubts at all, darling.
I do tell you, Christopher, it does appear that Kevin Harvick will win.
I'm just thinking of that dude with the underbite from Family Guy.
Kevin Harvick's numbers at Phoenix are exquisite.
Great. We've went from NASCAR Nazi or grammar Nazis to NASCAR goes Outlander.
NASCAR, what?
In all seriousness, though, Kevin Harvick is my pick. I went out on a limb for my underdog. I got to maintain a small smidge of credibility. Kevin Harvick, the runaway favorite. Anything can happen. His pit crew's iffy. He does have a makeshift crew chief up there today. Is that disrespectful to call Tony Gibson makeshift? That's not the right word to say. Just he's a backup. He's a backup crew chief.
He's a good backup crew chief.
Yeah,
he's a good backup crew chief.
Yeah, he just went from having a crew chief equivalent of Joe Montana to Steve Young.
Again, story lost. They don't replace. They just reload. They just reload pretty much.
Yeah, and Kevin Harvick's he's definitely the favorite. I mean, anything can happen, but yeah, I think he's my pick to win. It'd be crazy if he didn't. if he finishes even second, I'll be surprised. Like that's just how it feels.
Yeah, this is like the way Kevin Harvick is here is like how Jimmy Johnson used to be at Charlotte before it got repaved.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, we are right on the 2-hour mark. So is there anything else we want to talk about? We have 257 people watching. Oh my goodness, we're almost to 200 likes. Earlier,
Let's
I made the
go.
challenge.
Lick the like button,
200 likes.
Lick the like button.
I was
about to. There's 2 more things on the. I don't know, like if.
Oh, yeah,
Danny, what was he gonna say? What was he gonna say, Danny?
I was gonna give a quick announcement from one of our friends of the podcast, CH14. He has just informed me that every race for the YouTube Pro Series has a title sponsor for it.
Yes. Thank you, fans. Thank you, fans.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. So every race is sponsored, and I think we have all of the awards sponsored too, right? Like the move of the race, the pole lap, and all that stuff.
So I think everything's took care of. I mean, I don't know how much I'll personally get to do of it now because of work and stuff, but I'm happy to hear that everything's took care of. We got a super chat.
Yeah, thank you for the super chat, Alec. Harvick will make it into Miami.
Hold on a second. This is, I think, an hour or 2 ago. Let me see if it's right, but it looks like, per Jeff Gluck, NASCAR Scott Miller says that the sanctioning body is considering much harsher penalties for next season.
We talked about
breaking news.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Like we literally talked about that like 4 minutes after it was tweeted.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to be sure.
Thank you for the super chat, Alec. But I think we all think Harvick's gonna make it to Miami. So sorry about that.
Yeah. No, but there was 2 more things on the agenda that we didn't talk about. So on Friday, there's Chip Ganassi is holding a press conference Friday. So I'm thinking it's either Kurt Busch to the 1. They're gonna announce,
be what it is.
or it could be Ross Chastain officially in the 42 full time next year.
Could be both.
There were talks.
That's the kind of thing I would see probably in a press release when it comes to Ross Chastain. I think it's going to be Kurt Busch.
It's probably going to be about Kurt Busch, but you never know. They might do like a dual sponsorship thing. Maybe they bring in a new sponsor to sponsor Xfinity and Cup.
That's right.
There, you never know.
And then lastly, go ahead.
I was going to say maybe, because I think after next year, Monster Energy won't be the title sponsor. Maybe they're looking to maybe do other things. Maybe they want to do a little bit for an Xfinity Series program too.
I was thinking. And then I scoured on Reddit, and people also are thinking this too. Y'all remember the Chicagoland race?
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, y'all remember the end of stage 2?
Mm-hmm.
Where Kevin Harvick passed Kurt Busch right at the end of the stage?
So I think I know where this is going.
Think about it. We got a 3-point gap right now. Kevin Harvick loses a point, say he doesn't get past him, and Kurt Busch gains a point. That's 1 point gap.
Yeah.
What happens if we have like a 1 point gap where Kevin Harvick makes it by a point over Kurt Busch? I'm just saying.
Wow. We can look back on that and be like, damn.
And I mean,
that's
wow,
huge.
That'd be crazy if you think about like if Kurt Busch makes it in, Harvick doesn't. Kurt Busch only winning Bristol and Harvick winning 8 races. I mean, that'd be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's huge. That is just saying. I mean, and again, if Kurt Busch gets in either way, then we don't have to wonder. But I'm just saying that could be something that a few years down the road I can make a missing rings on.
Oh,
I hear myself.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean it's that I don't know. I think that'd be pretty cool. I wanted everyone else to be aware of that. So
then the last thing, I guess, before we wrap up here, Jeffrey Earnhardt is scheduled to make an announcement tomorrow. And a lot of people on Twitter are like, he's going to the 9. He's going to the 9 for junior motorsports.
TEI.
which is his uncle's team. So, I mean, he does have the K9 sponsor, so maybe it makes sense, but I'm not sure.
That makes a ton of sense. K9 on to 9. I mean, it writes itself right there.
Running P19.
19. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to see what happens with that.
He ran JR Motorsports before, and he couldn't even break the top 20 for
Dude, he was like, I think he finished 16th. I think.
Yeah, but
He's better than Michael and Ned.
But he was in the same car. He's in the 5. That's what Annette has. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a throwaway car.
and Dale Jr. never did anything in the 5 car when he had it. So
Again,
maybe
it's a throwaway car.
So Dan, so the 9s regressed. 2017, you have William Byron, the champion, wins like 4 races, wins the championship. 2018, you have Tyler Reddick, which, I mean, he's done pretty good this year, but compared to William Byron, no. Now you're going all the way down to Jeffrey Earnhardt. Like, money. I mean, money's a beautiful thing, man. That's all I can say.
Did the 9 even run in 2016 when Chase come to Cup?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
I think it took a year off.
Yeah, it came back in 2017 when
I just want to be sure. I want to be sure. Y'all can keep talking while I check.
Oh, I thought he was waiting. Yeah, I mean, like, again, I mean, money. It just shows, like, in today's sport and stuff. I mean, money can pretty much buy you anywhere. I mean, like a Michael Annett and now Jeffrey Earnhardt to the 9. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how he runs, but I don't know. JR Motorsports completely redoing their team. It looks like Elliott Sadler's retiring. Gregson is replacing him. Annette's, for some reason, is still there.
One constant.
Yeah, that's the one consistent thing. And Michael Annett and
that car.
I don't know, Michael Annett and consistency in the same sentence. I'm not really sure about that.
He's consistently mediocre.
Okay, fine. Consistently mediocre then. Yeah.
I hope he's shocked because that team does like a 180 and has a Justin Allgaier year.
He's well, I mean, if we want to bring it back to a meme we had earlier in the episode, he's like the Nathan Peterman of JR Motorsports. He's just there.
I gotta agree with you there. Yeah, he's just there.
Thanks for the super chat, Alec, by the way. I see that. Appreciate the dollar.
But Jared, did the 9 run in 2016 or no? Okay. All right, so I'm not crazy. All right.
You got that one right.
Yeah, I got that one right.
Darian hasn't completely.
So now I'm 1 in 15 on this podcast. So
it's better than Chris Davis.
Better than
Chris Davis, I guess.
Wait, 1 in 15. So you're saying you've regressed back to 2008 Rams?
2009. 2009 Rams. No, because in 2008 they were 2 and 14. See, there you go.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha there.
Wasn't one of those wins against Detroit?
No, 2009. That was the only win against Detroit, and Jackson ran over like a ref to get a touchdown and stuff. It was awesome. I remember being so happy that day. 2009 was a tough year as a sports fan. Junior got a top 10 at Talladega the same day the Rams got their first and only win of the season. I was like, wow, this is the best day ever.
See, it was mixed emotions for me because NASCAR sucked that year for a Junior fan, but as a Viking,
I did.
Oh, having the Packers play the Vikings in Lambeau Field, and then Brett Favre being on the Vikings and beating the Packers in Lambeau Field on my birthday. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Real quick, want to throw this out here. We actually did reach our goal of likes. We went we actually went way over 200 to 234.
Good ratio.
Same number of people who are watching right now. So that's something.
Good ratio, guys. Give you all ourselves a pat on the back in the chat.
Yeah, well done. You guys have been a fun chat here tonight. On that note, I guess we can start doing outros. I'll let you go first, Jarrett. You're looking nice and comfortable over there.
Yeah, because I get to go out into the frozen tundra of Illinois.
How many layers do you have on right now?
He has a lot. He has to have a lot on.
Three. And this is all wool.
I mean, it's dark out there, and it's probably in the 80s. I don't mean to brag, but
yeah.
By the way, Jarrett, I was out on Friday night, and I was like, "Damn, it's pretty cold." Then, like, I thought about your situation. I was like, "Oh, never mind."
While I'm looking at this, there's a super chat. It's a nice one too.
Yeah, $5.
Oh, there
$5.
Oh, that was like a delay on my end, but yeah, wow. Thank you for the super chat, Blue Jimmy 48 fan. Awesome, hilarious podcast, everybody. Congrats on 78,000. And Darian, get some help. Well, he follows up by saying he'll never stop supporting us. So he's got your back, Darian, if you need his help.
I appreciate that. What was that? Oh, Michael Jordan. Oh, stop. Get some help. Get some help.
Yeah, stop it.
Stop it.
Get some help.
Get some help.
No, well, it's gonna be 22 tonight, so it's not gonna be as bad as.
Oh, that's balmy.
Oh my
That's
god.
That's balmy. That's awesome.
But,
Hey, that's just like a nice, cool summer evening.
Mhm.
let's see. I don't think it's gonna be as windy as last night. No, like last night was like 29, but the wind chill made it 14.
This night there will only be one tornado that hits my house. In the morning there'll be a flash flood.
It's funny in the summertime. Jarrett was getting like tornadoes like every day or something over there, and then actually a couple of nights ago, I was under a tornado warning here. So
No, it's like we had like 3 podcasts. It's like, guys, like if sirens go off, it's tornado. So I'll leave the camera running, and you guys see what happens. Then Darian being like, "Wait, sirens for what?"
The siren's going off because Chase Elliott won.
Thanks
sorry,
again.
Siren.
Oh, my God.
Thanks again for the super chat, Alec. How about them Red Sox? Yeah, they tore through everybody. That's for
Yeah,
them.
they killed us all year. Trust me, I know.
I'm
Mookie
sure.
Betts is the oil killer.
Who did the Red Sox have more wins than the Orioles had losses, or how did that work out?
They had 108 wins and we had 115 losses. So, yeah, that was a really good season. I'm telling you what.
Man, you're making the 2012 Cubs look good.
I can't wait for opening day. There was only 20,000 of us there. It'll be only like $10.
I remember those years as an Astros fan. You could get in for $2 plus $5 parking. It was a steal.
That's going to be us for the
Hot
next
dog
10
day.
years.
All right, who's doing outros first?
Me.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, I'm the iceberg. Of course, I'm the last one in, first one out. Right? Success recipe right there. Anyway, yeah, so I'm the iceberg. You can subscribe to me, New Devil's Advocate, next week as well as Missing Rings, and tomorrow video on the point systems of NASCAR, all 15 convoluted ones and all. But yeah, 3 more coming up with the podcast. We got, I don't know, Danny, would you be able to do it next week or?
good question.
Ooh.
I'm scheduled 9 to 6, but I have been scheduled 9 to 6 a lot in the past few times, and it did not work out. So I'll go ahead and say this. I'm going to talk to somebody who might be good to be a backup host, but plan on it being on my channel. And if for any reason this person needs to do it and I can't, chances are you're probably subscribed to him already if you're in this community.
Yeah, the way to be safe is to just hit all the subscribe to every single person in the description right now. That's the safe way to do it. It doesn't cost anything.
Exactly. It's all free. And guys, Eric here has 75,000. By all means, all of you subscribe to us, because when you don't subscribe to us, you miss out whenever it's hosted on the other channels.
Subscribe to us or I'll kill you. Anyway, Brendan Little Gaming,
Okay.
He'll be our guest next week. Then we're on Eric's channel, not next week, but the week after, and then the week after that mine, and then we're done. Then you can't see our beautiful faces for like 8 weeks, 9 weeks.
You can see us in the Pro Series though.
That's right. You can see us in the Pro Series, which if you haven't already, subscribe to that channel, because
Which is also in the description, YouTube Pro Series channel.
yeah,
I covered all my
covered.
bases. Yeah.
we got covered. Anyway,
Yeah, I got covered tonight.
I'm the iceberg. So long.
All right, so I'll go next. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's podcast, tonight's podcast and stuff. And me once again. I'm kind of used to it at this point, but anyways, tomorrow a brand new upload. Good seasons, Carl Edwards, 2000. I can't tell you yet. Find out which year tomorrow when I upload. I'm gonna be uploading around 4 p.m. Pacific time. So tune into that, and also make sure to subscribe to everyone's channels. All of us on the panel put out pretty good content, I would say. So yeah. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Stubborn Flags Matter. Catch you next time.
And also remember that we have a playlist too of all the podcasts. So this is already on there. So yeah.
And I am, of course, Danny B Talks. You can find me on YouTube at Danny, as well as Twitter at Danny B Talks. I've said my name enough. You should know what to go look for. Danny B Talks. I did put up a new 5 NASCAR drivers you forgot about video today. Already working out the next one for next week, and trying to get back into making those very consistent. That way you all will enjoy what I'm doing over there. And this has been another great installment of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast presented by famous quarterback Joe Gibbs.
Yeah, so many good little inside jokes here today.
Oh man,
I'll let you do your outro, Balto. Thanks for coming on.
no problem, man. Thank you all of you for having me on tonight. This was so much fun. It's funny because I live in an area where there's not a whole lot of NASCAR fans, so it's really nice to sit down for a couple hours and talk racing with you guys. So fun show. Thank you for inviting me. But talk quickly about my channel. I'll keep it brief, obviously. You just look me up at Balto Racing. You just put that on the search little thingy on YouTube, and you can easily find me. You'll see the Oreo pony, and that's when you see me. So a couple things that's going to be coming up on my channel really quick. This week I'm going to have a new top 5 hum moments. I haven't done that in a long time. That's going to be pretty good. I'm going to look at an old race from 2007 when Brad Daugherty was in the booth. So that's going to be a little bit fun. And obviously I'm going to have my Ford 400 promo that's going to be coming up pretty soon before that race. And I'm actually going to be debuting a new series after the season called the Forgotten Win, which will look over less known wins in the NASCAR, in the sport. So that's going to be something new that I haven't really done before. It's something a little bit different from what I usually do outside of promos. So I'll have more information about that in the coming weeks. But outside of that, I'll say just check out my videos and hope you like it. And thanks for having me on tonight. This was so much fun.
Yeah. Real pleasure to have you on, and we'll definitely have to get you on here again next season.
Yes.
Yeah, you passed the audition while he's in. Yeah, I think the chat had a good time too. This is a fun stream. As always, subscribe to all 4 of these people. We'll be back at it same time next week, probably on Danny's channel. But like I said, if you aren't subscribed to everyone on here, do it. It's free, and that way you know where the podcast is every week. As for me, this is my channel. If you're new here, subscribe. I make NASCAR commentary videos every single day. Today I talked, before the podcast, I uploaded a video talking about Harvick and Truex and all the news that came out today. I'll have another video coming out tomorrow that talks about ISM. And of course, I was at Texas Motor Speedway this last weekend. So if you missed my big, long 20-minute vlog, you can check that out as well. But that's all for me. We'll be back next week, same time, and look forward to seeing you there. Great show tonight. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and have a good rest of your Wednesday night.